O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moodius Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodius.dental. Moodius Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodiusdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help. South Florida, listen carefully. Asmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Asmani Garcia delivers results. Asmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Welcome aboard. Good morning. Hope you all are hanging in there. It's a basketball Friday, I guess, is what we can call it, since our heaters. It is all, let me see. Okay, let me go this way here to get a little centered. The heaters getting ready for the game tonight against the Hawks. They're favored by 1, so it's been a complete 2-point swing because actually the Hawks were favored by 1 yesterday. So we have gone from 0 to now Miami favored by 1. So little swing there. The money is coming in on the Miami Heat over the Hawks. So we'll see what happens, but they have to win tonight. You got to get in the playoffs. That's the only way this season matters for this young team. So we'll get into that. We've got a bunch of guests today. David Furones will join us. So we'll talk about the Dolphins. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about the Jalen Ramsey mess. And the other, there are a couple of Dolphin topics that I want to bring up too. And one I'm going to laugh about too. Manny Navarro's going to join us. And also my buddy Benjamin Albright is going to join us. So he is an NFL insider, works for KOA in Denver, been there for years, knows the league inside and out, follows the draft. I've had him on my show a bunch of times. So give you a little bit more, draft talk, because I promised I'd give you some draft talk. I have not even gone in as deep as I normally would go in years past. And again, it really, it's all because of one thing. And I got to say, for all of you out there, I'm not sure how you're dealing with it, and you can share on the chat board. You can send me a DM on IG or X or Threads or, Blue Sky, whatever, wherever you follow me on, LinkedIn. Actually, there's one listener that reaches out to me on LinkedIn. Anyway, I don't know how you're dealing with this upcoming season. I've never, ever really had this kind of a feeling like it's so over. And I had this before the press conference with now there's a lot of people that are now on the island with me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's usually what happens, as you all know, on this show. Usually I say something and it's way ahead, and then eventually everybody starts joining me, right? And this island now has gotten overcrowded after the Calais Campbell, Teron Armstead's gone. What's it called? Jalen Ramsey now, then the Chris Greer press conference. Now people see what I already saw way before all of this. And why I told you the season's over, why I have no hope, I don't know how you guys are dealing with this. I really don't. Like we've talked about, I'm going to watch it and all that, but I have no enthusiasm. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Like, I have no enthusiasm for next season. None whatsoever. And I don't know how some of you are coping with this. I'm interested, because like some guy on Twitter was like, well, let's just draft linemen and we'll be just fine. And I go to him, dude, the guy that's coaching can't coach. Like, what's wrong with you? Doesn't matter who you drive. The last 2 years, you should have won a lot more games in the regular season. I know, like 2 years ago, by the end of the year, you had a bunch of injured players, and it was going to be hard to win in the playoffs. But during the regular season, you should have done a better job of winning more games. Last year, you should have won 11, 12, 13 games. Easily 3 to 5 more games than you won. Easily. You all can go through the entire schedule and look at those games and say, well, they should have won this game and that game and that. So it just shows you that you could give the guy anything and he's still not going to maximize it. So that's why I kind of laugh. And it's like this delusional state that some fans have. Okay, we can't discuss those of you that are delusional and you're like, well, you know, I'm a fan. This is our year. Or nobody expects us to win. For sure, we're going to win now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, anything can happen. Oh, you know, I've heard that too. It's like, whatever, man. Those people you can't reason with because they don't like to live in reality. Those are the kind of people that kind of like avoid the news because they don't want to hear about bad shit happening or something like that. You know, those people are kind of like a little soft. Let's just put it that way. Those fans that like they don't want to hear the reality of it, those are soft. I'm talking to you all out there. The ones that are on my island now, the ones that see through everything that's going on and you go, wow, there's no way you can win in this environment. There's no way you can win with this talent. There's no way you can win with that coach. It's over. So those are the people I'm talking to, the realistic people. How are you going to cope with this season? How are you coping with the off season? You can already tell how I'm coping with it. I don't give it that much. You know, I had to go today to the neurologist because I went to the neurosurgeon last week to ask him about something. And he checked out my MRI and everything, and it all went well. And then I went to the neurologist today to ask the 2 questions that the neurosurgeon couldn't answer. And he answered, and it's cool and it's kosher. And I'm great, dude. Everything's been fantastic, just in case. But on my way there and back, I'm hearing my man Joe Rose, poor Joe Rose. Well, you know, we really need to do this and really got to get a guard here. And it's like, you're gung-ho about what, bro? You know, and I get it. You want to try to keep people listening. So you can't be really honest about it. You call the games, you know, all that. So you can't do what I do. You can't be brutally honest. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really can do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Beat writers can't be brutally honest like me, because then the people are reading going, well, why do I need to read this beat writer? He already told me it's over, right? And he's just going to keep telling me it's over. And so that's it. I can't handle that. So it's just funny listening to the hopeless or the bullshitters. And certain people have agendas, and so they have to feed you bullshit, you know? But for those of you that are away from all of it, how are you dealing with this? Because this is a feeling I've never had before as a Dolphins fan. I've never felt so hopeless, helpless, and like it's way over before it began, pretty much. Way over. Like, at least the Cam Cameron one, I didn't know until it actually happened. You know, we had all the goofiness and you know, the thumb up, right side up, down, or whatever, you know, during the whole Ted Ginn pick, and we had those kind of things go on. But then finally, when the coaching started and the game started, that's when we got hit like with reality in the face. Like, holy shit, this guy's really bad. You know, that was okay, but you didn't know until you knew. Here, we already have 3 years of watching this goofball on the sidelines not know how to coach. The guy didn't even know the down in a playoff game. I mean, his players walk off the field in the middle of plays, and he has no idea. Huh? It's 3rd and 16, and Tyreek and Waddle took the playoff? Wow. So I just want I'm wondering, how are you Dolphins handling all this shit? How are you dealing with this offseason? How are you dealing with the lack of expectations for this season? Because only someone who's insane, someone who's delusional, someone who's hopeless will actually put, what's it called? Like some kind of reasoning that this team is going to do anything. Like if you try to make a case for this team being good, come on, man. Come on. How do you, I've never dealt with this. Like I'm going to watch with zero enthusiasm, which is crazy. I've never had that. I've never had that ever in my life. I've never had that. By the way, let me tell you a little bit about my man at Omega Home Realty Group. And look, when we talk about Osmani Garcia, well, Osmani Garcia is absolutely amazing. I've known the man for over 15 years. And the Omega Realty Group right now, Osmani Garcia's got the 30-day guarantee. That's right. He will guarantee to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he's going to buy it. And I've known Osmani for a long, long time. So if you live anywhere in Florida, not just South Florida, not just the West Coast, we've had listeners all over Florida for a bunch of our different advertisers. Well, Osmani is another one of those advertisers that covers the entire state of Florida. So give him a ring, 305-440-1990. He's got the 30-day guarantee, man. And what you're going to love about that guarantee is there's no excuses, no delays, no fine print games, none of that kind of stuff, okay? And he's as honest as it gets. I've known him for easily 15 years, all right? He's been a sponsor with our platform, whether it's here or when I've been on radio. So a lot of our listeners in the past have dealt with Osmani, and they know he's as straight up as it gets. So if you are truly looking to sell your home, call him and see if your home qualifies. 305-440-1990. That's 305-440-1990 for the Omega Realty Group and the 30-day guarantee. All right. What else do we have going on? And let me do a little roll call. Don't forget, please smash the hell out of the like button. Jeff in Long Island, he says, I, for one, am thankful that you keep it real. Thank you, sir. At times, at times, yes, our fins are so lost right now. Yeah, it's disturbing right now how bad it is, to be quite honest. And the worst part about it is, dude, we're 3 years away from this rebuild starting. They'll never tell you that because they can't tell their season ticket holders that. Writers can't tell you that. Most writers aren't going to tell you that this season's a wash already. You know, people will string you guys along, but I'm not going to do that. Why? Because just because I'm telling you shit sucks doesn't mean I'm not going to cover it and talk about it and root for it and hope I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I hope McDaniel can go out there and coach his ass off and prove me wrong. That would be fun. Doubt it'll happen, but it'll be fun. Let's see what else. NorCal is in the house. Thank you, sir. One-Eyed Jack in. Jay Gelfin. Should be an action-packed sports weekend ahead in soccer, basketball, and hockey. Yeah, Panthers don't start till Tuesday, so Panthers are going to have a lot of rest, man. That is good shit. Daniel Barry in the house. Sneak attack. He's looking for a little WrestleMania. You just made Sean excited there. Fernando Perez says there's no one better than the Big O for Dolphins Insight. Many blessings to all on this Good Friday. Yes, sir. Same. Thank you, Fernando, for the kind words. Ocala Joe, listening live and smashing it. And the like button, too. Aquavision, Dolphin 66. Good morning to you, sir. Let's see if the Heat can put together another great game. It'll be awesome, dude. It'll be awesome. It'll be good for those young guys. We need Tyler to have another one. We'll get into that now. Gus 1388, Louis Beltran, R. Eric, Robert T., Lenny Pena, Cosa Nostra. Louis says, I deal with it as if got dumped and don't expect anything. So it's like limbo. It's terrible, isn't it? It's just terrible. Did you hear about Aaron Rodgers on Pat? Yeah, you know what, dude? I am so sick of Aaron Rodgers and how much he's so full of himself. You know what I'm saying? And Aaron Glenn's right it's his right to do whatever the hell he wants. He was named head coach. That's not his quarterback. And so if he had to pay his own ticket and had to go to the Jets and it was a quick meeting and they just dismissed him and he would have rather had a call or whatever, he would have bitched that, oh, they didn't have the balls to say it to my face. Well, bro, they brought you over. They said it to your face. We don't want your ass. The F out of here. And that's it. If I'm Aaron Glenn, why would I want to start my career as a head coach with that clown in the locker room going off on the media at any time, talking about whatever, and whenever he disagrees with something, because that's what he wants to do, he wants to go off. No, screw you. I am tired of Aaron Rodgers and how full of himself he is. This is the asshole that can't even get along with his entire family. Look, dude, any of us can have a disagreement with one family member, not get along with a family member, not talk to him, mother or father or uncle or grandfather or grandmother or brother or sister or something. It could happen. It could happen. And you don't talk. You don't talk to the whole family, and you watch his ass go from one girl to another, to another, to another. Okay? Enough's enough. I know when he looks in the mirror, that's why he needs a dark room. Those of us that are happy with our own shit in our own lives, and we're happy with our families, and we're happy with our lives and our jobs and all that shit, we're not seeking a dark room. And I'm trying to find myself. Bro, you're 40 years old. You haven't found yourself? Well, then you're lost in a fucking maze. I'm sorry, bro. You've had the life already. You've been a college student. You've been a college football player, a high school football player. You grew up. You had your prom. You had your friends. You went to the NFL. You won a Super Bowl. You've gone out with a whole bunch of hot babes, this, that, and you still are trying to find yourself. Bro, get the fuck out of here already. Enough already. You ever thought about it that way? Like, how many more things do you need? You got all the money. You've got all the fame. You've had every opportunity for love. You have a family that they love each other. How come you're the oddball out? And it's always everybody's problem. Oh, it's the Jets, and oh, it's how Green Bay, I guess you didn't have a problem when they were pushing Favre's ass out for you. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so sick of Aaron Rodgers, dude. So sick of Aaron Rodgers. Problem is, we just don't have enough people that talk about it honestly. That's all. That's all. The child has a problem finding his way. My God. He's had everything and every opportunity and every avenue to find his way. And he's got all kinds of personal issues. You know what it reminds me of a little bit, to a little extent? Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, sounds like, I've been through so much and people just don't understand. Oh, yeah, dude, of course. No, the mother that's got 3 and works 2 jobs. Yeah, no, she hasn't been through anything. No, not at all. She's divorced. She's got a couple kids. She works like an animal, yet she keeps the house. She's got the kids going. Yeah, she doesn't know shit. No, the guy that's pulling 2 jobs, supporting his mother, his wife, his kids, and his mother-in-law. Yeah, he doesn't know shit. No, the teenager, early 20s, that's working a job, also going to school and trying to they never deal with anything. Life, bills, insurance, tickets, they don't deal with anything. Only OBJ. Oh, my God. I must fight a kicking net. I must propose to it. I must go in the middle of a playoff game to Miami and get on a boat in jeans, because, of course, that's what us Miami people, we dress in jeans and regular shoes on boats when we're going boating. Yeah, that's what we do. I'm so tired of these people, bro. These people that are pampered, these people that have every opportunity in life. And then in the end, they sit there and they make themselves the victim of absolutely nothing. You know what the victim, Aaron Rodgers and OBJ are? They're the victims of them being assholes. And so they end up paying the price because they've been assholes their entire life. And so since they've been assholes the entire life, they want to blame everybody else for everything going on. Same shit. We just saw a small sample of it here. Aaron Rodgers is the largest sample that exists. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers. Horn Dog is in the house. Bam's turn for a big night. I wouldn't count on that. I'd count on Hero needs to be the guy because he's the one that has all the tricks in his bag for offense. And he's more willing to be offensive. You know what I'm saying? So Bam is the servant. Bam is the guy that protects, sets the picks, rebounds. And if the points happen to be going in, then that night, then he'll help you out there. But if not, I wouldn't count on Bam. I need Tyler to be the guy. And by the way, what's it called? Wiggins. Wiggins has to be the other guy. Wiggins is the other guy that brings more to the table offensively than Bam. So you need Tyler and Wiggins to do exactly what they did the other night. That's the way I would go. And then Bam do his thing where he fills the stat sheet all over the place and helps out. That's kind of the way I look at it. Skylar Tipton is in. Alexis says we're on an island of revelancy, and Big O is like the tribal chief. What else do we have here? Ray says, howdy, everyone. Lots of great nuggets at the Star Wars celebration in Japan. Mandalorian, Grogu moving 2026. A new movie, Starfighter, with Ryan Gosling in 2027. Okay, I like it. Thank you for the tips there, Ray. Appreciate you, as always. Ragin is in the house. Ceiling is 9 wins. It's funny it's funny you brought that up. In my preparation today, I just wanted to look at the numbers, and the Dolphins under is 8.5, but that's minus 135. So Vegas, like the money obviously must be coming in there because over 8.5 is plus 110. And there is no part of me that would ever wager over 8.5 right now for this team. With the vibe and everything going on, it has got to be so negative, so toxic right now with leaders leaving left and right and others wanting out. It's bad. It's bad. So it's funny. 8.5 is the watermark right there. That's the Mendoza line. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be under that with this guy at coach. I mean, the team's going to be not even close to the team last year or the year before. Last 2 years, see, we're so screwed as Dolphin fans because if you would have had success in year 2, like you're supposed to, okay, and Tua plays all the games and everything, then you build that momentum into last year and you build the trust into last year. But then going into this last year, you end up winning eight games. You fail in many places. You don't have any of your quarterbacks prepared. You don't help your starting quarterback. They all see it, dude. It's not what you and I talk about or the writers write or whatever that, hey, he can't get the plays in on time. So that kind of hurts. Hey, he doesn't stick to the running game. Whatever. All those things like, hey, Jonnu Smith wasn't even used the first month of the season. Barely used. And then he figured out, I've got a great tight end. Let me use him. They see all of this. They see their team is unorganized. They see players get late to meetings. This is your 3 years in. So you're 3 years in, and they can tolerate a new coach learning and they kind of get it or whatever. But when the guy's making the same mistakes for 3 years in a row and there's no progress, in fact, you're regressing, you're not progressing, then you also regress in the belief of the team, the belief in the front office, the belief in the culture, the belief in winning. And then when there's none of that, wait a minute, this guy's not going to help me reach my incentives. This guy's not going to help me win. Hey, I'm getting up there in years. I got to get the hell out of here. Hey, this is a brutal game. I'm taking hits. I don't want to take it for this guy. And this is where we're at. If you would have won in the last couple of years, let's take year 1 out. But in year 2 and 3, if you showed improvement throughout the regular season, let's say even last year when you had all those injuries, those last 2 years, you've had some injuries, people can give you a break. But during the regular season, you screwed up so much. Plus, you ruined your playoff positioning each year because you did not win the amount of games you should have won. They see all of that. And then they don't want any part of it. And then you got poor Chris Greer sitting there in a press conference, spinning everything when we all know they're lies. But he can't tell you that. Just like writers won't really write the honesty that I tell you on the show. You know, now they're all getting to a point where they may have to start writing that. But I'm the guy that's for a couple months told you, bro, this thing's over. These people want out. Nobody believes in McDaniel. Now everybody's kind of seeing what I've been talking about for the last couple months. People don't believe in him in that building. Reggie McKenzie said, bro, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to go back to Tennessee, my hometown, go retire. I know they're rebuilding, but these guys aren't going to win anything. What am I going to do? I'm only going to get fired. I'd rather leave than have fired on my resume next year. Let me go. That's it. You know, it just the writing's on the wall all over the place. Are we supposed to ignore it? So now this is where we're at. 3 years in, everybody has seen it. Ramsey hasn't been here for all 3 years, but he heard the stories from the first year all the way through and what he's lived through and everybody else. And so they talk to each other. They see what's going on. They see the coach. They don't take him serious. And this is why we're in this position. That's all. So you have that malaise all over this team. Anyway, Skylar says, it's what Kyle Krabs does exceptionally well. Compartmentalizes. As a Finns fan, it's the only way to survive, especially as a Finns fan like myself that never saw the great years. Yeah. And I feel bad that I threw Skylar's name. What was it? All Dolphins, or what's it called? I just threw it out there in a rant because I didn't think a lot of people were. I still don't think a lot of people have said that McDaniel should be fired. I'm going to ask Furonis that, because I hear Greer, and that's fine, but I don't hear enough of McDaniel. And that's sometimes I feel it's because a lot of them have to deal with him every day. And then you have to deal with the media relations. And then if, and they're not going to be favorable to you, because I know how it goes. They don't like to be favorable to people that are constantly being negative to them, even though they deserve the negativity because they're not getting it done or they're not producing, but they hold it against you, even though you're just being honest. Hey, man, you're not getting it done. So it's just, this is why we're here now, because we're at a point where nobody believes anymore. And now I think it's finally rubbing off on the entire fan base, and some of them are finally believing it. Robert T says there's actually nothing to deal with in regards to next season. I have a life. Let's go Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. And by the way, how about Bitcoin, dude? Throughout all of this going on, the tariffs, everything going on, it's holding strong, 84, 85. Let me see where it's at right now. But that has been impressive, dude. 84,480. It has held strong, man. Meanwhile, the stock market loses a ton. Right now, the stock market, it is down, I believe, 587 points. Let me see. I think that's what it looks like. Yep. 527 points. I'm sorry. 527 points. And the stock market just continues to lose more and more and more and more and more. And a lot of things are suffering, and Bitcoin has held strong. I'm super impressed. But I love the fact that it has stayed where it's at. And if it wants to go a little lower, I'm good because I get to stack. So, by the way, you can make a donation to the show. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink donations. And we appreciate it immensely. There you go. All right. And don't forget, if you're out of town and you can't use Cash App or Venmo, you can also use PayPal. And we have the QR code there. And you can send in on PayPal. Also, use the QR code. And we are trying to go to Alemania. I'm sorry, Germany. I'm sorry, not Germany. Spain, España. The Dolphins are going to Spain. Reportedly, it's November 16th against the Bengals. This will be a shitty season, but this will be the one game to cover. It'll be fun. Plus, there's a Dolphins bar there in Madrid. So we want to do our show all week long there, which will be cool. And then do our pre and post game show. Hopefully that'll be one of the few wins. And we'll have some fun. So if you can help us and send us to España, there is the QR code. Whatever donation you make, we are grateful immensely with whatever donation you can make. Thank you all out there, as always. Many ways to support the show. All right. I'm so sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers. He's even worse than Favre. Yeah, basically. Yep. Oscar Quintero. Hey, bendiciones from Fort Myers. Thank you, sir. Hope you have a great day, great weekend. Trade Tua and Ramsey. Well, that's Ramsey. You'll be lucky. Tua's not going anywhere for 2 more years, so you can stop all that stuff. Mike says, Big O, what do you think about Mike McCarthy coaching the Dolphins? Well, dude, when they fire a coach, okay, then we'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I saw that on the internet. You know how many stupid shit there's on the internet? Listen, I am not a dolphin-centric platform or a dolphin-centric writer that they have no choice to have to write about any bullshit that's thrown out there. I don't you want to talk coaches? When they fire the coach, then we'll talk about who's available. Outside of that, I don't waste my time with stupid hypotheticals. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Tua sells the house. Oh, he's going to get traded? No, dude, the guy's selling the house. He wants to buy another house. Rich people do that. They can easily do that in this world. Maybe he's going to be liquid. Maybe he's smart. Maybe he says, let me maximize this purchase here. Real estate is going down at the moment. We're going to have a little bit of okay, and I don't know what my future holds in the next 2 years. I'm paid. Let me start establishing stuff back home, and I'll live here with a condo, a big, nice condo or somewhere, and I'll rent it, lease it, and I can write stuff off and all that. You know what rich people do, bro. It's not a big deal. It's not anything that, oh, my God, he's on the move. No, but that's when you have nothing better to do, and all you can do is talk Dolphins. Guess what I'm going to pull up, Sean? Guess what I'm going to pull up right now here? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Pull that off there. Thank you, Sean Stanley. So, free agent guard Dalton Reisner says he'll sign soon, mentions Vikings, Bengals, and Broncos. Well, dude, wait a minute. Mr. Mike Manfredonia. Because you're the guy that asked for Dalton Reisner every effing year. And 2 weeks ago, there's Drew Rosenhaus on his Sunday night commercial propaganda spot. Well, the Dolphins could use Dalton Reisner. And then there's the writers. Well, Drew Rosenhaus talked about Dalton Reisner. We're not going to think for ourselves. We're just going to repeat what the agent says because we want to stay on the good side of the agent. And so we'll just repeat what he says, even though we know, or maybe we don't know he's wrong, or maybe we don't listen to Orlando Alzigari, who for 3 years has been saying they don't like Dalton Reisner. Holy shit, I was right 3 years ago. I was right 2 years ago, and I'm right again this year. I wonder how I can go completely not out on a limb, because I'm not out on a limb. I'm out on a factual island, because I actually happen to have some insight. So, Mike, you're the perfect, bro. You're the hook, line, and sinker type of reader because they're so Dolphin-centric, you're so Dolphin-desperate. Dolphin-centric, Dolphin-desperate. What a perfect comment. What a marriage. I only think Dolphins. Give me anything that's Dolphins. Even if it doesn't make any sense, I'll take it. Oh, wait a minute. They're trying to trade for two and find another. No, they're not. But we'll talk about it anyway. Oh, wait a minute. Jonathan Taylor's coming. Dalvin Cook's coming. There's a lot of shit on the internet, bro. Dalton Reisner. There we go. So I had to retweet it. You mean the Dolphins aren't an option, even though idiots keep mentioning and writing about them for the last 3 years, and we keep telling you they don't want them? Because I don't give a fuck about Drew Rosenhaus, bro. Drew Rosenhaus can kiss my ass. The entire Rosenhaus agency can kiss my ass. Get a writer to say that? No, because they depend on him. I don't depend on any agent. I'm not tied to anybody. I'm not tied to a corporation. I'm not tied to a team. I'm not tied to anybody. I don't give a shit. You know, to be quite honest, it's actually a miracle I lasted 30 years in the business. It's a miracle. Absolute miracle that a person like me that does not go by the mainstream, does not get swallowed up with the corporate world or any of this PR bullshit. Well, no, you can't call the agent again if you trash his player. So, Dalton Reisner and Drew Rosenhaus can all kiss my ass. There's no shot he comes to the Dolphins. That's all. So that's the problem, and that's our problem in our world, Mike. There's too much garbage, and too many of you fall for the garbage because you're so desperate to talk anything Dolphins that you'll talk about something that will never happen. And you do it all the time, bro. It's really sad. Let's see. In your opinion, is there any realistic chance Weaver is staying around? Who knows, bro? Again, hypotheticals. What happens if the defense looks like shit the first 8 weeks of the season? Is Weaver, you're going to want him as a head coach and whatever, you're probably going to get turned off by him, bro. Hypotheticals. Again, let's wait till they fire him, whenever they fire him, and then when we're in that moment, we'll find out what the landscape is and all of that. How about Weaver doesn't want to be here? How about if Weaver wants to go to another organization? Maybe while the season's going on, his agent's working behind the scenes for other things. You just let's wait, and then let's talk about it when it actually happens. It's the sad part, bro. We talk about too much bullshit that doesn't mean anything. Let's see. What else do we have? Josh, what's up? Say hi to Alexis for us. Alexa for us. Lenny says, I'm bracing for the worst. No expectations whatsoever. I get you. We are not screwed. 10 picks. Greer can draft 4 or 5 good players. We just need to stay healthy. Justin, you didn't listen, right? The team should have won at least 11 games last year with the talent they had. All right. Some of you just don't listen. Doesn't matter what you draft, bro. You can hand them the undefeated Dolphins, and they'll be defeated several times. Okay? Let's go back to 72 and hand them the undefeated team. And we all know it's going to go undefeated, and that guy is going to start the season with him, and they're going to lose several games. That's the part you're not understanding, my man. You're not picking up Inglés. Maybe no es pique. Maybe no es pique in Inglés. Jimbo, best in the biz. That's very kind of you. It's a beautiful thing, baby. Sorry I haven't tuned in live for a while, and maybe I missed it. Your last podcast on Spotify. Yeah, we don't know what the hell's going on with Spotify. But, folks, we want to remind you, because I love the people that ask me about Spotify, and then I don't know what it is. Is it a religion with some of you out there? You've never heard of iTunes? Or is that against your religion? Or SoundCloud? Or Stitcher? Or Amazon? Or Google Play? Or, I can just go on and on. It's like on so many different platforms. And it's like, oh, well, I can't hear the show anymore. No, sure you can, dude. It's on YouTube. It's on a whole bunch of other platforms. Is something wrong with you? Not you, I'm saying in general, but I kind of trip out with that. I got to be honest. The level of laziness sometimes in this world is amazing. So like you only have one app, and if I can't get you on this app, I can't listen to you. Okay. Hey, I haven't been able to listen. You're not on Spotify. It hasn't downloaded since March 31st. Okay, well, Sean's working on it. I don't know how they don't respond or whatever the hell, because of course, Swivis is really good nowadays. But do you really like the show? I mean, there is SoundCloud. There is iTunes. There is Stitcher. It's just kind of like weird. Like, you didn't think about that? So you haven't listened to the show for weeks and, I can't listen to you. No, you can. It's like the person that tells me, dude, I miss you on QAM. Is that all you can do? You don't go anywhere else? Dude, I'm on YouTube. Oh, yeah, I know, but, I like listening to you on... Well, you can put it in your car. Same way you put QAM. It's like, whew. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. Jamie Zoria in San Jose. Jimbo says, starting to get the same feeling I had during the Marino years when it's the Finns offense scored. The defense will not be able to hold the opponent, which means more losses are coming next year. Yep. Corso, you get a tariff. Yeah, baby. Yeah. NorCal is getting into Rivian and Caspa. There we go. Yep, they are holding strong. They are. To me, this is all buying opportunities. That's what it is. Anything that you really like and you've done your homework, you've got it probably on an all-time low. Not Bitcoin, obviously not an all-time low, but it's on a dip. It's just a great opportunity. You just got to hang in there. You know what I mean? Do I think these tariffs are going to work? Hell no, but you never know. So if crazy ass Trump is able to make this shit work, it'll blow up. And if they don't, then they'll open up the printers and they'll start printing, and that'll open it all up for the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to hang in there. Eventually it'll bounce. Bitcoin is good. I don't know about the rest of altcoins or stocks, but as I've told you, and you've seen it with Bitcoin has held stronger than anything else out there. Outside gold is the other thing. And if we have, shakiness coming down, Bitcoin is going to explode. So, but that's a prediction. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own homework. I don't know the name of the bar in Madrid. I haven't. I have to contact the gentleman, but I haven't gotten into that yet. Why? Because I haven't. We need to get to some targets here before I want to bother those people over there that were headed there and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't bothered to find out the name of the bar. NorCal, as you all know, he is the president of the Northern California-based Dolphin Nation and a Dolphin of the Year. Well, he gave me the contact because he knows the presidents of Dolphin clubs all over, and he knows the man that runs the Spain, and there is a bar there. So I just don't know yet, but I haven't gotten into it yet. So that's why until I am able to really make the reservations, then I'll start bothering them about going there. You know what I mean? I don't want to bother people when, it hasn't happened yet. So, Sean, show them the billboard. Help us get there, please. We need it. So make the donation if you can. All right. But I'll try to find out the bar. Okay. Let me get the bar's name. I should do that at least. Keeping it 100, Big O. That's why I prefer you over others. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people don't enjoy the honesty. Razzle Dazzle Crypto says, I'm more worried about our cornerbacks than Greer is. Michael reminds everybody to smash the like button. Thank you, Michael, for looking out. I appreciate you, sir. Justin Floyd says, we're not going to win that 11 games with Tua missing 6, man. Plus, no, dude, there are games there they should have won with or without Tua. You think the Colts game, they shouldn't have won it? Of course they should have. Come on, bro. Go back and look at the season. There was games they should have won. All right? I'm not making excuses. I'm sorry. When you're a good coach, you find ways to overcome in certain situations. They were playing terrible teams that had terrible quarterbacks also. All right? But when you bring Tyler Huntley off the bench and you don't change the offense, who's that on, my man? He didn't adjust to Tyler Huntley till the last game. I mean, it was just, there are things that McDaniel does that make no sense whatsoever. So I am sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to seriously disagree on this one. Let's see. My newest car is a 2007 Range Rover. If I buy a newer car, that'll be a Rivian. Rivians are nice cars, man. They definitely are nice cars. Big O, you need to be positive. You will reach your goal. Just plan it, and they will come. And we're talking about the weight loss here, right? Yes, definitely. I am definitely going to get it done. All right. That is for sure. I am going to turn it up now. Now that everything's worked out, all my bounce back from this crap, I am definitely going to turn it up, as they say. We're going to have David Furones join us at the top of the hour, okay? You know what I want to do? I'm going to do it early because I got a lot of football talk coming up. But let me get. I rarely do music early. Let me get the music stuff done right that down there now. Okay, let's have some fun with that. All right, let's go with musicians born on this date, on April 18th. All right, Ted Sablé, musician for The Killers and keyboardist, by the way, for The Killers, born in 1976. Mark Tremonti, hell of a guitarist, man, born in 1974 with Creed. Who else? Greg Eklund, drummer with Everclear, born in 1970. Mark Bez Berry with Happy Mondays, born in 1964. Mike Mangini, drummer for Dream Theater, at least from Portnoy's not there. Let's see, who else? Les Patterson, musician, member of Echo and the Bunnymen. All right, that'll do for musicians. All right, let's go with other famous folk born on this date. All right. Barbara Hale, actor, born in 1922. James Woods, actor, he's 78, man, born in 1947. Rick Moranis, born in 1953, he's 72. Eric Roberts, born in 1956, he's 69. Conan O'Brien, born in 1963, he's 62. Eric McCormick, actor, born in 1963, he's 62. Maria Bello, actress, born in 1967, she's 58. She loves wearing that fedora. Maria Bello, if I remember correctly. Who else? Melissa Joan Hart, born in 76. She's 49. Kourtney Kardashian, born in 79. She's 46. America Ferrara, born in 84. She's 41. That's it. All right, Sean Stanley. Do you have any wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, we do. And happy WrestleMania weekend. The Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi. He is 64 today. And the next WWE United States Champion, Jacob Fatu. He turns 33. Those are your birthdays for April 18th, 2025.
All right. Cocky Kane says, I met Mark Tremonti at a bar in South Carolina. Hell of a nice guy. Dude, the amazing part about Tremonti is that he does Sinatra. You should go on YouTube, okay? Because obviously Tremonti is great with the several bands that he's on and his solo stuff. But you've got to check him out doing Sinatra. That is truly amazing. It blows you away because all I've ever known about Tremonti is that he's a hardcore rocker, a great guitarist, all that stuff. And to see him do Sinatra and, I mean, knock it out of the park, do it so exceptional. Go check it out. Go Mark Tremonti doing Sinatra on YouTube. Go check it out. It'll blow you away, man. Blow you away. April 18th, let's go with music history. What happened today in music history on April 18th? We start off in 1992. Def Leppard's Adrenalize started a 5-week run at the top of the album charts. 2015, Green Day was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was their first year of eligibility. Other inductees, Joan Jett, Lou Reed, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Ringo Starr. In 2003, Kiss and Aerosmith announced a co-headlining tour. In 2006, a sale of Elton John's clothes raised more than $700,000 for the singer's AIDS charity. In 95, Oasis drummer Tony McCarroll was told by phone that he was out of the band. In 83, the number one song in America was Dexy's Midnight Runners. Come on, Eileen. In 2004, Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker opened a franchise of the popular chain restaurant Wahoo's Fish Tacos in Norco, California. And that's what happened today in Musica history. It's a beautiful thing when it happens like that in music history. All right, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Rob Erickson, thank you for the love on Venmo. And he put Spain. So you can say, I guess you can send it by Venmo too or Cash App. Appreciate you, Rob. Thank you. It's very kind of you, my man. Very nice of you. Oh, man. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, and by the way, besides the QR code, you can also go to PayPal, too, if you want to make a donation anywhere around the world. One of my students is a hardcore Sinatra fan, and he loves Tremonti Sinatra covers, of course. If you love Sinatra and you listen to Mark Tremonti, how do you not love it? How do you not respect it? Appreciate it? Anybody, go see Mark Tremonti sing Sinatra. It'll blow you away, dude. He's fantastic. What else do we have here? Will McDaniel last the entire season? That's a great question. You know, I almost feel like he won't. But we'll see. I'm expecting just the worst. I hate having this feeling, to be quite honest. I really do. I hate having this feeling, you know. Let me tell you a little bit about Moody's Dental. Come on, folks. All right. When it comes to dentistry, all right, you want to go somewhere where you can trust. Look, my wife goes to Moody's Dental. My daughter goes to Moody's Dental. All right. My mother-in-law goes to Moody's Dental. I go to Moody's Dental. Entire family. And as you can see in the picture there, father and sons. All right. And I've known Eric personally for a long time. His dad is a beast. He's not only made inventions in dentistry, but also techniques that dentists use all over the world. And one of the things you're going to love, whether it's in Dade or Broward County, you can call him in Dade at 305-821-0231, Broward 954-692-6825, Modern Dentistry. Like if you've got to get a crown, I always use this example because for me, it's the best. So you go, right? And then they always they gut it all out. And then they put the temporary, because they take the measurements and they tell you, all right, in 2 or 3 weeks, you come back, we'll have it ready for you. At Moody's Dental, it's ready in 10 minutes, maybe 15 max. They take the measurements and the computer already sends it to a machine in another room that starts to create the tooth. So that way you don't have to make a second appointment to come back. You know, your time is important. They kind of understand that. They have a couple of nights where they're open till I believe 8:00. Okay. Why? Because there are people that get out after 5. Moody's Dental understands this, dude. You're going to love it. And by the way, they do it all: Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, and cosmetic surgery. My wife had a missing tooth from an accident. They built the tooth. Got it done, man. So call Moody's Dental. Follow them on Instagram at moodys.dental. Subscribe. Follow them on Instagram so you can be eligible for prizes also. Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. Hour number 2. And David Furones next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-NATE.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. Let's go. Let's talk a little Fins. How you feeling this morning, my man? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good, Big O. We're within a week. Less than a week.
I don't know what that means. They're just adding some players. I don't really think it's going to add anything to the season for me, to be quite honest. But before we get to that, how does this Ramsey thing end, dude?
Well, hopefully for the Dolphins, it ends in him getting traded either before this draft or on draft day. Whether that's as a piece, because it's not like you're going to get tremendous value for him already in his early 30s and on that contract. But if it's either on draft day in a move up with some other kind of pick swapping going on to make the math work as far as that table of pick value that teams have, then something like that would be the preference. If they go past draft day without him moved and you're still trying to move off of him, now that's a treacherous position to be in, because now you're talking about picks for next year, and you don't know if you're Chris Greer or Mike McDaniel if you're going to be around to make those selections. So clock is ticking on executing that Ramsey trade. So I actually wonder how long it had been since this was actually going on, and then now if putting it out there was kind of like, all right, we're within about a week of it, we got to start getting the word out more because we need to make this move before we end up making these picks this year.
Yeah, this hasn't been going on for a really long time. This has probably been going on for a few weeks. But that's because the writing's on the wall and he wants to get the hell out. But I mean, they're not going to tell us the truth, because the truth doesn't help them, at this point in time. And it's understandable. I understand the approach that Chris Greer took. He had to try to spin things as positive, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Nobody's trying to move Jalen Ramsey on that team because they're going to lose cap space, which makes them a worse team. And they're trying to save their jobs. So none of this makes sense. And if you knew you had to get rid of them early in the offseason, you probably would have made another move in free agency because you would have tried to accommodate some stuff. But come on, man. I mean, this is just it's just there's just a bad vibe in that building right now. People aren't buying what the coach and everybody is selling. Unfortunately, players are clearly not on board with what's going on. That's it.
Yeah. And then what makes it so confusing is, since last time we spoke, because we spoke while in between when the news was already out, but then we hadn't heard from Chris Greer yet. And then it was so confusing how his sentiment was that Jalen Ramsey didn't come to us with the trade request. Now we're only hearing the team side of it. I know it's hard to believe, right? Like everyone is assuming that, but then he's not getting into specifics on what exactly it is as to the reason why all this is even happening. So are you insinuating it's the team that's trying to move on from him? Like you said, that doesn't make sense, because then it's the cap hit that increases for a team that's already pretty strapped on cash. You didn't make big moves in the first wave of free agency for that reason. So is it – I understand Jalen Ramsey maybe is – so that's when we start to speculate, right? Like, okay, I'm there thinking – I know Jalen Ramsey isn't like a leader type of rah and like and rally the guys. He sticks to himself. He does his own thing, and he does his own thing well. Obviously, he's a multi-time All-Pro, several times Pro Bowler, seven-time Pro Bowler actually. And I don't know if maybe they wanted him to take more of a leadership role. I don't know if he was probably culpable in a lot of those things that we heard at the end of the season about tardiness and guys not taking meetings seriously, getting there on time, and this and that, and things that you can't really have in an NFL locker room. So I wonder if it was kind of like clashing of, hey, we have these expectations for you, and you're not fulfilling them, and then maybe Ramsey is the guy that if he's going to hear some criticism on him, he's probably going to snap back at you. And I could totally see a plausible scenario where Ramsey and McDaniel didn't see eye to eye. They're different personalities entirely. And maybe Ramsey is fed up with a lot of the, maybe his coaching style compared to how most NFL.
Well, I could see McDaniel in his goofy way of going to Ramsey and saying, well, hey, we're going to need you to be more of a leader here and help us and all that. Why? Because they lost a bunch of leaders. They all left.
Right.
And that locker room lacks that, and that's not Ramsey's thing. And Ramsey's like, yo, man, you all don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't need to carry this burden. I don't have that much left. I'm getting the hell out of here. So I could see something like that, because obviously McDaniel is, dude, when Chris Greer, okay, as much as I like Greer, McKenzie, and Allen, I know McKenzie's gone now, and overall, I think they did a pretty decent job in selecting personnel, who they kept, who they lost, who they hired as coaches. That's the stuff that really, I think, really screws them over, right? Okay, but I got to tell you something. What I saw the other day, I saw a defeated person. In did you not see a defeated person in Chris Greer? And when you look at everything going on, it's impossible to go to that table and be, with your chest out. The year before, you won 11 games and you had all those injuries at the end, and I could look you in the eye and say, nah, you guys are worried about the offensive line more than we are. We're good. We won 11 games. Hey, brother, don't worry. I get the ball out quickly. They were all in the cocky mode. But this year, there's no cockiness. There's no 11 games. It's monster underachieving. It's people abandoning ship. It's no cap space. It's an unsexy free agency so far. I don't know if you want to be honest enough or you didn't see it that way. I don't know which one it is, but Chris Greer looked as defeated as I can see a human being ever at general manager.
No, I would agree with you. Aside from maybe a situation where a GM speaks after the fact once his tenure is gone, and then you're truly at that point just defeated in terms of you lost your job. But as far as a currently sitting general manager, yeah, I mean, sure, I got that vibe, and probably even evident before then how he switched up on not speaking at the NFL scouting combine on the record with the media, which now he never does the big podium thing like a lot of GMs do. He tries to keep it to a small circle of the traveling South Florida media that went to Indy, so that it's kind of just like all focused on the Dolphins, and you don't get a bunch of reporters from elsewhere that come up and they're like, oh, you know what? I'd like to ask him about this. And you get distracted with a bunch of other bullshit, which I prefer too, because I don't want all these other questions. I want to keep it to the Dolphin stuff.
Of course.
But he usually does that with us, and then did not have an on-the-record conversation there. So I think it was telling, like, it just kind of where it's going, where he's feeling. It's there was already a drawback in that sense. Like, he's going to do the minimum requirement in terms of speaking out in the media, which is just he does have to do a pre-draft press conference. So it's kind of like, all right, do I have to do it or not? All right, I have to do this one by league mandates. Yes, I'm going to. The other one, the combine stuff, I always do it because it's important, even though I'm not forced to. But this year there was a switch up in that regard. So I could kind of sense a little bit of that defeat. Like it's like you don't have a bunch of great stuff to talk about. It's all going to be tough.
No, he's got nothing. He's got nothing to talk about, unfortunately. See, he was in a position where he had nothing to talk about, and there was not one thing, David, that he could say to defend himself, to reach anybody, to satisfy anyone in the media or the fans, because unfortunately, nothing has gone right. And so it's kind of rough, dude. Like when I saw him, I was like, wow, like he's done. Like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Because he just did not have anything. He couldn't defend anything that you guys could ask. It had to be some kind of story that really didn't make any sense for a lot of the
stuff. The T-shirt? It didn't make sense to you? the T-shirt gift? Yeah. Don't F this up?
I mean, it just... it doesn't make sense for him to even tell that story.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense for him to say that I've deferred too much. That, bro, people don't want to hear that. That's not. They don't want to hear after the fact that you made the mistakes. You're better off just falling on the sword, not like making excuses for why it didn't go well and this, that. You got to either just take the accountability, But when you dance around it and you start telling us, nobody believes a Ramsey story, bro. Nobody believes a Ramsey story. And it's just not a good story. And I get it. You don't want to make Ramsey look like the dick because he does that. He's great at that. He's always been classy about everybody that leaves or whatever. He doesn't diss anybody. He doesn't do, even if they want to leave or whatever, or either they're pushing him out. He always takes the high road. And there's no doubt Chris is a very likable dude, but wow, that was tough, man. That was tough because there was nothing he could ever say to satisfy anybody in that press conference. I don't.
Yeah. Which is what you're trying to do. Maybe some damage control because you understand the sense of the fan base right now. But at the end of the day, just people are feeling the way they're feeling. There's not much you can say about it. The only way they can change it is not even in next week. It's draft. It's winning next season. Yes. And the odds are more and more stacked against the team. People feel that. And then the only way would be if it's a surprise run that rallies people, or if the young core of last year's draft class and combined with this year's draft class starts to show incredible promise. And then you're like, oh my God, okay, wait, there's some potential here when you have these pieces. But aside from that, then yeah, people are down right now.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Oh, then there's still a lot of great free agents out there. Are there? Did you sense that there's a lot of great free agents out there?
Not great ones. I mean, maybe if you like, I still look at Asante Samuel Jr. at cornerback, but but a lot of those top cornerbacks have left. Actually, maybe there are a few there, but defensive linemen, then yeah, a lot of them have already gone by the wayside. So yeah, you're looking more slim there, but you're also bargain hunting because you're not putting up the big money to go and get the top-notch free agents that did get those contracts this offseason. So yeah, you got to go find a bargain. And one thing I do like about the D-line is last year they got like 4 or 5 guys in the first wave of free agency that then never stuck around. Like they didn't even make the team, like a Jonathan Harris, like a Neville Gallimore, which by the way, Gallimore ended up having a few sacks and big moments with the Rams. But like they added all these guys. Tier Tart never made it past training camp, even though he played well with the Chargers. But and then it never really, you were like, all right, where are all these guys once the season starts? So maybe they make a more calculated, economical move there. But yeah, I mean, you missed the first wave of free agency for sure.
All right, so let me ask you, because I think it's low-hanging fruit, and it's easy to say, okay, the GM's got to go, okay, because obviously all roads lead to him, every decision. How many people in your beat, you, Hal, Joe, Poop, Omar, Perkins, Hyde, I'm trying to think of people that go there a lot.
Yeah, did you say Barry?
Barry. How many of you have come out and said Mike McDaniel should have been fired last year?
How many of us feel that way?
Yeah,
maybe
because I know that Al Krabs does. Because I in one of my rants, I was like, I don't hear anybody even at All Dolphins or something. What's his site called? Is it All Dolphins or what's it called?
No, that's Poop.
That's Poop. What's his called?
Well, he's with the 33rd team, but I think he's moving on from them.
No,
right?
he's moving on from that. No, but the other one, the Dolphins, whatever it's called. I see. I even forgot the name now. I'm brain farting. I nailed it at that moment. I go, are they because I've been saying it for a while that this guy needed to be fired from the Colts game on, right? So how many of you out there are on the record, written it, talked about it, said McDaniel's a major problem here with everything? How many of you?
Well, I know from our end of the Sun Sentinel, definitely Dave Hyde has been big on that in that regard. Perk has said
on both guys, obviously. Yes.
Yes, yeah, and even recently, in reacting to the Ramsey saga, put out another one like, this feels like a rebuild, except for one big aspect to it, which is the 2 guys at the top are still around. So he's been big on that for a while.
By the way, ballsy job asking the question.
Hmm?
ballsy job asking the question. The rebuild. Yeah, bro. It made the headline in Pro Football Talk. Yeah. So.
About was it the rebuild one?
Yeah, your question.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, not a rebuild. Yeah, it was one that needed to be asked. Like, all right, is this what we're doing right now, or what?
Well,
which we talked about. We knew that he would say he's got to win.
They don't sell it that way, but that's exactly what
if it looks like a rebuild, if it smells like a rebuild, no, it's not a full-on rebuild, that's for sure. You still have a lot of the core players, but that's also contractually obligated because of what you did last offseason. But so Hyde has been on it. Perk has said that he believes, based on what they've done, they should be, and has called it the most disappointing era compared to expectations. But he also was, right. I mean,
I agree. Nailed it.
Yeah. I'm with him there because compared to expectations, this team should have been.
The last 2 years, those rosters were pretty good, dude. And I know, 2 years ago at the end, you were so injury riddled, fine, but during the regular season, you should have produced more. You should have won more games, and you didn't. Last year you should have won easily 3 to 5 more games. Easily, you should have. You should have won 3 games with the talent you had, and you didn't. So that's why I'm interested. So Krabs and Hyde want McDaniel fired. Who else?
So Perk has said they should be based on what they've accomplished, but that he understood, like, all right, with the core there and how you need to win this year, like you got to just see it through, which is kind of like, which I feel that way, which is, you couldn't do it last year. You couldn't just go from 1 year, everyone's getting contract extensions, to now everyone's gone after 1 year. I feel like you need to at least let them have this season, and then that's when you can make the big moves if it goes awry once more.
Can I add a caveat to that on top of all of that? If you ever have to write this article, it's not just next year, buddy. If you would have blown everybody out and brought them in for this year and next year, they have so many cap hits that you could not expect a new general manager or a new coach, whichever one or both. If you only hire one or both, it doesn't matter. It'd be unfair to expect anything from them over the next 2 years because of all the cap hits that you're going to suffer this year and next year. The Dolphins, as I've already talked about, are 3 years away from starting the rebuild. So that's why they brought these guys back, because why are you going to hire somebody new, and a really good person is going to say, shit, dude, I got to bite the bullet for 2 years before I even can start to really build it in my vision. A lot of people aren't going to want to do that, David. So you let it fall for what it is here on the sword. And if these guys surprise us, great. And if they don't, all right. Well, now we can go find somebody, and they understand that the first year they got to deal with 1 more year of the Tua contract. And if he plays well, great. And if he doesn't, then you can move on. And other contracts, the Chubb and other, all kinds of stuff that you're going to take hits and everything else. So that's the problem with all of this, dude. You're really 2 years away from cleaning a lot of this mess and dealing with all the cap hits and dead cap money.
Yeah. Well, that's how it'll have to be sold, is that it is the start of a rebuild. If, all right, let's play out the scenario where next season goes awry and you do start brand new, then those seasons where you're taking on those cap hits, those have got to be the years where you're clearing out as much of that talent on the roster as possible. You're essentially, it's the forbidden word in the NFL, but you're tanking. And you're trying to get one of the highest draft picks in what would then be, the 2026 draft. Next year, 2027, while you're still taking those cap hits, so you can start the infusion of the young talent for another couple of drafts. Before then, you clear out that cap space, and you can find that core that you're building with, along with the new veterans that you're going to form the team around in a few seasons. So, it's going to be a difficult situation, but that's one where I would sense if it goes awry, then that's where the rebuild begins, while you're still, all right, we're seeing it through on those cap hits while we have little talent on the roster. Good luck winning with this roster. We're going to end up having a high draft pick, out of it, and that's how the future is built after that, which would take another several seasons to finally see the fruits of that.
High draft pick, huh? High draft pick. Let's get motivated for that, right? Because Jake Long was here for a long, long time after being a high draft pick, huh? Deion Jordan, he was here for a long time after being a high draft pick, huh? Ronnie Brown,
yeah,
good player, but he was well worth the number 2 pick in the draft. And Tua Tagovailoa and all the injury history. Man, isn't it fun when we have a top pick? There's another article for you. Isn't it fun when we have a top pick? Because, of course, our top picks end up with us forever. That's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, like let's take a look at the history of the Dolphins when they have a top 5 draft pick.
Oh, my God. I was just, when you mentioned that, I just went and did a little list quickly, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's been terrible every time we have a high draft pick. We're high when we make the pick or something. I don't know, but it's.
Oh, that's what they mean by high draft pick.
Yeah.
Not that it's up there.
No, it's not that it's up there. We're up there. We're in space with the Blue Crew. Okay, that's where we're at right now. All right, we'll talk draft on Tuesday, since we'll get you on Tuesday, and then we'll talk on Friday to recap the first round and preview the second round overall. You're not hearing anything on Ramsey moving at all, right? Because I think this is going to be a problem for them, dude. I don't think there's going to be like this robust market for Ramsey at $21 million, to be quite honest. And I don't know, maybe they're going to have to take on. Here's the other thing: if they have to take on salary, please educate me. How much worse does it make it for them if they have to take on salary like they did with Ryan Tannehill? In order to get a 4th round pick in return, they took a certain amount of salary back. How does that affect their cap space too?
Yeah, that might be an issue. I have to sharpen up on how, because I understand the cap hit goes up, but as far as, if you're taking some of that salary, how that affects.
Add on to it. Because you're taking the cap hit from the bonus that was already given. Okay, so now if you have to pay salary in order to better the pick to get back, then, bro, educate me there, bro. You got to write about that, please. Tell us. I'm not exactly sure, but it sounds to me in the math that you start losing more space. No good. Good.
Well, I think that's why they got him at such a cheap price when they got him from the Rams. It was exactly that. It was a 3rd round pick and Hunter Long, which is a steal on paper, right? But the reason being because it's taking on that salary. So, and still mind-boggling how the Rams have now passed the Dolphins since they were rebuilding from setting him away. And Jalen Ramsey was coming to the Dolphins with the expectation of going to a contender. My goodness. How are we here?
John McVay is a superior coach.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford understands the game of, I can't move, but I'm not going to go out and seek contact. Somehow or another, he understands I must get rid of football. Oh, you intercepted me? Go ahead. See you later. I'm not chasing you. But our guy, he thinks he's Jim Brown. He thinks he's Mike Singletary. So he thinks he can take on tacklers and tackle people. So, it's a whole different ballgame with our guy. Tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
That's one thing Tua would have to pick up. But, it makes it a difficult situation. And, I think you're just adding on to that cap hit. And it would just make it way more tougher to operate, considering you're already sort of just using what you have to sign these 10 draft picks that are coming in. And you have some maneuverability to sign some cheaper free agents on the second end of things. But you're going to be pretty strapped for cash, and even more so after this.
Looks like a 6-rounder that could become a 5th with playing time. And you're lucky we're taking him off your hands. That's the kind of deal I think that's they're looking at when it's all said and done. All right, what do you got going on in the South Florida Sun Sentinel so Dolphin fans around the world can check you out, sir?
Yeah, this week I have posted about the Dolphins' situation at defensive tackle and at DB. So a lot of new stars, an overhaul of the secondary is what it is now with this Ramsey trade development. And then on the D-line, how they still have a lot of work to do around Zach Sealer. And this weekend, I'll also be posting about the South Florida locals in the draft. So make sure you know who the South Florida guys, the guys that are homegrown, came out of the local high schools, winning state championships and all that, as South Florida teams tend to do. How many of them are now starting their NFL journey in this draft? And I probably will come out with a mock draft 2.0. I don't have to. I'm only.
Really? Your editor's not forcing you? Your editor's not forcing you to do that garbage?
Well, at the beginning of the month, we had the whole draft breakdown, and then I was just on for one mock draft. But now, since mine was before this Jalen Ramsey thing, I might have to come out with a new one.
Yeah.
2.0.
What's it called? Tony Pauline. We had him on yesterday. He's got us taking Will Johnson.
Yeah. And is it sticking at 13? Because that's my whole thing is that I wonder if the 49ers take him at 11, they have a whole new defense. So I've got my eye on them as far as that's who I mocked him going to.
But they also need help big time on the offensive line.
Yeah, they do. But here's the other thing. I had the top 3 linemen.
They may be the team that takes Kelvin Banks, and that's why he won't be there for Miami. Something like that.
Well, like I had the Bears taking Kelvin Banks, right? And then with the 3 linemen gone, then that's why I didn't go lineman for the Niners. Then I had them taking corner. So you might need a trade with the Bears to get in front of the 49ers because they got a lot of the same needs.
If I'm the Dolphins, I would not be giving up anything. They cannot afford to do it. Just wait for the best player to land to you, whoever that is. You should be, bro. There's going to be a really good player for you at 13.
Oh, there will be. Yeah.
You just can't reach. You just got to take the best player. The beauty for the Dolphins now, dude, you need so many damn positions. Nobody can really complain if they took a guard tackle, if they took a defensive tackle, if they took a corner, if they took a high-level safety. People are going to understand if you made any. Why? Because you need every one of those damn positions. The running back might be the one that we would all look and go, yo, man, come on. That even though Genty and the other kid, what's it called?
Amari Hampton.
Yeah, Hampton. He looks like a pretty good player too, but that's not what you take if you're Miami. But pretty much everything else, it's there for you, bro.
Right.
Nobody can complain,
You can't be mad at it. Maybe also wide receiver because you still are planning on having Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle together. So, if you were moving Tyreek Hill, then I
1 year you really don't have to because you should be and you signed the big kid from Tennessee. So if anything, and Waddle should elevate next year, and you'll keep the Tennessee kid, and you've
Malik
got
Washington,
right, and you've got Jonnu. So really, the receiver is for next year when Tyreek is gone, and Waddle then gets elevated, and the other guys get elevated to carry on more of the load. That way, you can bring the rookie along a little. So this year, you can't say, "Oh my God, it's terrible." But it's really not suggested to take that receiver in the first round right now. That's not really a priority right now when those other positions, dude, they're major priorities for them. Major. Big time.
Yeah.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel and subscribe. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, sir. Have a great weekend.
You got it. Welton Realm bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, 954-966-4646. Check out the website, wrflalaw.com. They've helped so many of our listeners, man, over the years now, and listeners in Central Florida, listeners on the West Coast, and obviously here in South Florida. No listeners yet, I've been told, in the Panhandle. But we're waiting. They can take care of you. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. We'll be there on the 30th. Actually having some fun and looking forward to it. The Solterra, by the way, it's on my radar. I'm going to get an SUV. It'll be obviously in the Zen family, whether it's a ZDX, okay, maybe a Tundra and Toyota, and then the Solterra is the other one that I like from Subaru. And by the way, they've got some great lease features right now. The Forester base is $259 with 3.9% financing. The Outback Premium, $289, 2.9% financing. The Impreza, $159 a month. The 5-door, 4.9% financing. The Legacy Premium, $279 a month, 3.9% financing. The Ascent Premium, $323, 3.9% financing. They are absolutely loaded. And check out the Solterra that I love. Beautiful SUV, great vehicles, incredibly reliable vehicles, and great deals. Get down there to Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard, and you can call them 754-799-4129. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you, man. Good people out there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Offensive linemen are the keystone to championships. That's right, Cosa Nostra. We don't get that, but that's kind of, Shula didn't understand that all the way till now. It's amazing. 40 years and every goofball that we've had from Shula till now, because Shula just didn't get it down the stretch. But then again, it's because he was the personnel guy. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? The Dolphins just pulled the Patriots move by moving on from a player before he's worth nothing. But it doesn't make sense for us because Greer gave him the extension, and they shouldn't have given him any extension last year. They gave too many extensions out, man. Greer didn't talk about Tua as a leader. Dude, does it really matter? It only matters to those of you out there that are anti-Tua people. That whole thing, he was nervous. It was a man that couldn't say anything that would make anybody happy. Does anybody believe the Ramsey story? No. Does anybody believe Tyreek Hill is a leader? No. So just like he mentioned Tyreek and didn't mention Tua, he's not thinking at that moment. There's panic. But it's great, juicy material for the Phil Quinns of the world and any of the beat writers or anybody that's anti-Tua. It's great for you to say, oh, he didn't mention Tua. Oh, what an indictment. Whatever, man. I mean, the silliest. Some of you just latch on to the silliest shit that there is out there. The team's falling apart, and you're worried about whether he mentions him or not as a leader, which has nothing to do with anything. All you need to do is look at the team without him, and they can't play quarterback, and they can't throw the ball anywhere. And then while he's there, at least they're respectable and they're competitive, even with no coaching. Even with a coach that hates him or no coaching. Either one. But whatever, man. You know, at halftime, Saban said the national championship is on the line. Jalen, you're not good enough. I'm going with Tua. So I don't know, dude. Am I going to go with Saban or am I going to go with anything that's going on here with the Dolphins? Yeah, I'm going to go with Saban. Whatever. I'm going to go watching him play for a guy that hates him and he still won with no talent around him. I'm good. I'm not worried about Tua. But, hey, man, he didn't mention Tua. So for those of you out there that dislike Tua and all, this is great ammunition. He didn't mention Tua. Oh, it's blasphemous. Oh, my God, it's over. You see, he didn't mention Tua. You're going to take anything that guy takes that says serious. He mentioned Tyreek as a leader. Why? Because he's desperate. The poor man is desperate to save his job, that he has to try to throw Tyreek and blow some smoke up his ass to see if he can, because McDaniel and Greer have to count on Tua to be responsible, which he's not. Tyreek to be responsible, which he's not. Greer is counting on McDaniel to be responsible, which he's not. And then players are dumping them left and right. And then you get some cockamamie story about how the corner doesn't want out, but we're pushing him out. Yeah, we're going to push him out to eliminate more cap space for us. So it puts us in a more difficult position to save our jobs. Come on, man. There was nothing he was going to say. But hey, man, knock yourselves out. He didn't mention Tua as a leader. Silly shit. Silly shit. Let's see. Big O, is there a scenario where you see Greer getting fired and McDaniel staying? No, not at all. No, not at all. That I cannot see happening, my friend. If anything, McDaniel's gone and also Greer. If anything, Greer stays because he didn't hire McDaniel and somebody else did, and he's, kind of done the best he can with the guy and given him what he could. That's the only thing that I see that could possibly be the case. But outside of that, sadly, they're both going to get blown out and we're going to go through a stinking rebuild again. 2004, 0-6, and coach resigns. History never repeats. I tell myself before I go to sleep. Big O, Shador drops and he's there at 13. Would you take him? I would, but they're not going to take him because they've got to save their jobs. So they're going to take a lineman and take a responsible pick. You know what I mean? I love Tua. You guys know it, but I don't trust Tua anymore. I can't. He's ignorant as hell. He refuses to realize his body's fragile. But like most quarterbacks, if they went out and started taking on contact, they would all do. Cleo Lemon, Mike Tomlin thought Cleo Lemon was dying right in front of him. It's a brutal sport. But most quarterbacks are smart. Marino wasn't taking on any talent. He would have never lasted. I mean, any what's it called? Contact. Marino would have never lasted. Are you kidding me? But he's smart. So is Peyton Manning. So is Tom Brady. So is Drew Brees. These guys don't seek contact. Our idiot quarterback thinks he can take on people. It's like the dumbest shit in the world. So, yeah, I would draft a quarterback at 13. But that's me. I've given up. They've got a different agenda. It's just Jalen Ramsey doesn't give a shit about their agenda. He wants out. Let's see. Michael, please wish my beautiful wife a happy birthday. She'll be 47 this Easter Sunday. Mrs. Austin, happy birthday. I hope you have a great happy birthday and a great Sunday. And hopefully Michael takes you to a really nice restaurant and treats you like the queen that you are. So happy birthday. And Michael, take care of her. All right? Make that Sunday special, my brother. All right. Too Extreme is in the house. It's over for this regime. There's no trust for anyone in the franchise. Time to start completely over. Yeah, it'll happen after this season, doggy. I know. I get it. I understand. Look, nothing went well. Nothing worked. That's just kind of the way it goes. As much as I wanted it to work, as much as you wanted it to work, the facts are, didn't work. There's nothing I can defend. There's nothing the owner can defend. There's nothing that the front office can defend. There's nothing that Mike McDaniel can defend. It sucks, dude. It sucks for us. Locked on Dolphins. That's it. In my rant, I threw Locked on Dolphins, and poor Kyle got thrown under the bus, which I shouldn't have done, which is wrong on my part. And by the way, he was one of the few that at that moment was saying that McDaniel should be fired. You know? I apologize. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not perfect. Let's see. What else do we have? Dave Militex. I've been a fan for every one of those 54 years, and it's rough, my brother. It's rough. Yep, Parcells did take Jake Long, and it would have been a good pick if Sperano, rest in peace, didn't F it up. And then he was gone. So it ends up becoming a terrible pick because we didn't keep him here for a long term, and he wasn't healthy. After the first 3 years, he started with all the injuries because of Sperano. What are you going to do? Right? Let's see. Big O, if McDaniel gets fired, do you like John Embry taking control of I'm not talking about any coaches. I'm not wasting my time with that, bro. Okay. When they fire him, if they fire him, maybe McDaniel goes out and wins 12 games, bro, and saves his ass. We'll talk about all of that stuff when it happens. I don't do the silly hypothetical bullshit, dude. I'm a talk show host. I could talk about a whole bunch of other things, and I'd rather talk about a whole bunch of other things than some hypothetical coach that we don't even know is available, or if they're firing this guy or that, or when they do it. So, you know, I don't waste my time with that shit. That's for Dolphin-centric sites and writers that got nothing to talk about except Dolphins, and I feel sorry for them. So, thank the Lord, I don't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I don't have to do a Marlins interview, because I would never do a Marlins interview. They have to earn their way on this show. But I don't work for the team. I don't work for the channel. So I'm not forced to kiss their ass. I don't do their commercials. I'm not forced to kiss their ass. Others are. It's kind of the way it goes here on this show. By the way, use our code BIG-O10. You will get 10% off at Caneswear. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. They got all kinds of great stuff, man. Jerseys, hats, shirts, anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. They got Inter Miami gear. They've got a Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, some playoff. I bought this hat there at Caneswear. Love this hat. This is my favorite Heat hat now. Love this hat. So check it out. Use our code BIG-O10. You will get 10% off there at Caneswear. If you order over $99, you will get free shipping. Caneswear.com. It'll freak you out how much stuff they have. Big O, I believe, says NorCal, Greer's desire have not always been the final call. I believe McD will fail. Greer will stay and possibly finally have final say on football personnel. Mackenzie leaving says we're screwed. I wouldn't mind Greer surviving. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me on that. But he has to, and it's probably too late now. But if you have to run it your way, we talked about this. I don't know if you're going to put up that rant about the Dolphins have no identity. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That one. And I talked about the teams that have an identity, and that's been the Dolphins' problem. And you have to develop your identity and then find the coaches that fit that identity on a consistent basis. And they fail to do that. They are just willy-nilly, and they change their identity one year to another, and it just does not work that way. It's counterproductive. So 2 decades without a playoff win is not the time to give a non-head coach a chance. All right. Thinking Blue Dodgers is checking in. Smash that like button. Thank you, sir. On this rebuilding denial thing, if Mad Dog was still alive, he would have said, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. I agree. So, Kickback says Greer has been with the franchise for 25 years and has had a day in multiple drafts, head coach hires, and roster management. Kickback, just so you'll know, bro, you're just a stinking lazy ass fan. I've heard others say that same stupid shit. Okay. He had no say in any head coaching hires. He had no say in any general manager hires. All he ever did was put reports in for players. And obviously the reports must have been pretty good, because if one staff keeps him over another, they read the reports. And then they put him in charge. And what it seems to me is that he has not done a good job of hiring coaches, because that's been the detriment. And then the rotation of assistant coaches. And when one coach has 4 different staffs on offense, for offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, your talent continues to change. And then he's had 4 different defensive coordinators with the second head coach, and your talent continues to change. And that turnover has killed them. Okay. And he hasn't actually had conviction with his decisions. But if you look at the tenure of the last 5-7 years, a lot of talents come through here. And you complain more about the people that left that they should have kept. And then they kept the wrong people. You know what I mean? So it's kind of ignorant to talk about 25 years, because he wasn't in charge with any of that. And if you were putting bad reports together, when they sweep and fire all the scouts, they would fire you, because they would read your reports and say, well, that player sucked, that player sucked, that player sucked. So if he survived all of that, but, Kickback, you're just going to run your mouth like a lot of you out there, and you're not going to think for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool, dude. Blame him for what's happened the last 6-7 years, that it hasn't gotten done. That's it. Hasn't gotten it done. But the whole 25 years, he was never in charge. He never had any say in anything. While Gase and Tannenbaum were here, they had the say. He didn't have say till now, the last 6-7 years here. But you know what? The good thing, Kickback, it's a nice, lazy argument. And, we're in an era where people repeat lies over and over again, and people are stupid enough to believe a lie that's repeated enough. You have people that make a living on repeating a lie over and over and over again, and they repeat it so much that they make it fact for people. So what you say, you've repeated it over and over again, and people believe the same stupid shit. Like he's been running the team for 25 years. Think about how stupid that is. But you won't, because then that would make you look stupid, and you're not willing to say, that doesn't make any sense. I'm dumb for thinking that. He wasn't in charge 10 years ago and 15 years ago and 20 years ago. He had nothing to do except send in a report for a player. That's it. And those things are all on hard drives. So maybe he's good at finding talent, but managing the roster and the coaches, that's where kind of the problem's been. It's not that we let AVG go. You did find him in the 5th round, right? It's pretty damn good. Right? You did find Sealer off the street. That's pretty damn good. You're going to have your misses and you're going to have your hits. But he had a lot of hits, but they made a lot of mistakes on who to let go, just like Tyreek. It was a good move up until last year. You had to not guarantee more money, and then you would have parted ways and you're off and running. Now you've kept him. Now you ruined it. But that's all right, bro. It's all right not to think Chris Grier deserves the job or he should be fired or he hasn't done a good job. All of you have the right to say that, and you're right, because that's the end result. But when you say he's been in charge and he's the reason for 25 years, bro, they've been choking for 40. How stupid can you be? What happened to them 20 years ago used to happen under Shula. They're choking ass dogs. They've been there for 40 years, no matter who's here. Whatever. But it's a great lazy argument, kickback. And you can ride that stupid argument all you want, bro. But you know why? The good thing about it, kickback, is you have a lot of stupid people on your island. And since you morons love to believe lies, because there's a lot of you stupid people out there that just believe people that spew lies over and over and over again, and they repeat a lie, and then that's what you do. Let me go repeat a lie. Because now it's a fact. Now that I've repeated it over and over, Chris Grier's been in charge for 25 years. He's the reason why. No, it's not that it's a franchise that loses constantly for 40. No, it's Chris Grier's fault for 25 years. Think about how stupid that is. Okay? So, anyway, now that we get back, well, you got to be careful when you text in, because when you text in something stupid, you might just get called out. Anyway, unfortunately, Grier made some good moves, but the bad moves and decisions outweigh any good he's done. That's it. That's all. You were brought here not to almost make the playoffs, not to barely get in the playoffs, but to win playoff games. You were brought here to, put together the right team and a coach. Didn't do it. That's it. Bottom line, didn't get it done. And that I cannot defend. Okay? I can only say, hey, man, I'm wrong. Grier, McKenzie, and Allen didn't get it done. I thought we had the trio there. And for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. The buck stops with them, unfortunately. I agree. That's it. But the 25-year thing, stupid. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Which players keep when relentless when the rebuild starts? We'll talk about it. I'm not wasting my time. That's for those Dolphin-centric sites that, they just got to masturbate with themselves and talk about that silliness all the time, bro. I don't do any of that stuff. I talk about what's actually going on, reality. I don't get into hypotheticals. Well, who am I going to keep a year from now and on? And I could be talking about a player that's healthy now and then a year from now has a busted knee. So I wasted my time? Is that what we're going to do? Yeah. No, dude. That's relentless. That's go check out those Dolphin-centric sites. I got nothing else to do. They'll talk about all that silliness. Well, let's talk about the rebuild in 2029. Whatever. Let's see what else. You know what else? Manny Navarro. Let's start off hour number 3. And in this hour, Manny Navarro will join us. Then Benjamin Albright. We'll talk a little Dolphins draft with him with the NFL Insider at 12:30. But next, to start hour number 3, we find out everything going on in the world of the Miami Hurricanes with our BigCheeseMiami.com NIL and recruiting report.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Feeling great. Oh, how are you?
I'm feeling great. Maybe I'll feel a little better. Maybe I'll go to the Big Cheese this weekend with the wife to have a little food. All right, bro. The Canes like to be active in the portal. But at the same time, we're watching people, which you always tell this every year since we've been doing this now for years. You always tell us, all right, and ladies and gentlemen out there, be ready after the spring game all over the country. Players find out where they stand, and then some of them want out. And so that becomes a good and bad thing because you could lose some players that you like. You might lose some players you don't like. But at the same time, now you can go out and maybe find a player that you like. So first, walk us through who are they losing?
Well, they've had 4 kids so far announce their intentions to leave. One of them is on offense. The other 3 are on defense. Nikar is the receiver who was one of the 2024 signees, a kid who just got here not too long ago, one of the big receivers that they signed who was a blue chipper. He's a kid from Georgia who basically saw the writing on the wall, I think, after the spring, and that Malachi Tony and Josh Moore and some of the guys in this recent freshman class are probably going to end up getting more burn and get on the field faster. And so it's just the way the process works. Oh, we've talked about it many times. I keep trying to tell people college football is no longer a game where you hold on to your players for a very long time. They get in the portal. If they're not playing after 1 or 2 years, they're going to take off and look for a fresh start. And so Nikar is the loss on offense. And then the 3 guys on defense, 2 of them are defensive linemen. One of them is Josh Horton, a defensive tackle who's been here for 2.5 years. Elias Rudolph, who was another 2024 recruit who just got here a year ago. And then the last one is Zaquan Patterson, who was the big-time safety out of Hollywood Chaminade. Zaquan kind of got passed up on the depth chart this spring by some other guys. Miami went out into the transfer portal, brought in somebody through the portal who's going to be the starter. And I think Zaquan just never really got to the point where he was worth the money that Miami, NIL, and everything else was paying him. So a lot of these are financial decisions. Guys are asked to take pay cuts. And if they don't want to do it, they look for a fresh start. And I think that's part of what we see here.
All right. So who are they looking for?
Well, I think defensive tackle, I think those 3 positions that we just went over, defensive line, safety, and wide receiver, it's obvious, right? You lose something there. You need to come back and replenish those spots. And so a big name that came up at receiver this week was Trevor Penna, who played for Syracuse. If you remember that Syracuse game last year that Miami lost up there in the old Carrier Dome, whatever it's called now. I forget what they call it now. But Penna led the ACC in catches, and you think about what this offense lost at the receiver position with Xavier Restrepo.
I know Don McPherson had a hell of a game against us.
Well, listen, Syracuse's offense shredded Miami's secondary, which is a big reason why there's a new defensive coordinator here. But Trevor Penna was one of those guys, and ideally, he is the kind of guy you would look at and say, okay, maybe you bring him in the slot. That allows a guy like Malachi Toney not to have a ton of pressure on him to deliver right away as a freshman. It brings you some more experience in the receiver room where you're really, really young. Right now, this weekend, Trevor Penna is visiting Penn State. So that's the first stop. I think this might be a slow play by Miami for whatever reason. Fran Brown, the coach at Syracuse, was asked about it earlier this week about Penna, his captain, entering the transfer portal after the spring game. And he said, look, this guy's not worth $2 million or whatever it is that people are throwing out there. I don't know that Penna is going to command $2 million in NIL, but it seems to me like maybe he priced himself out of Syracuse with the season he had last year. So that's a name to know on offense for Miami in terms of targets. And then on defense, you have Braxton Felly, a kid out of Boise State, who is a multi-year starter. He's not big. He's 6'1", about 300 pounds. He's supposed to be visiting Miami next week. Kid out of Utah who ended up going to Boise State, started the last 2 years. He's at Cal this weekend. 14 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, and 26 career starts for Felly over the last 2 years. So, a guy that could come in and provide some depth for Miami on the defensive line. Mario always loves to get D tackles in the transfer portal, guys that are going into their last year that he can throw in there and provide some depth. So I think that's probably what Felly ends up being if he picks Miami.
All right. Well, speaking of money, Nico and that whole mess with the Tennessee quarterback and Miami involved now because they're paying that guy $4 million and all that stuff. So what's the deal now? And how's college football even going to manage something like this? Which I don't even know how they can manage it.
Yeah, you think about Tennessee, they signed him just a couple years ago to that $8 million deal, and everybody in college football freaked out. A recruit is going to make $8 million over 4 years. Why would Tennessee do that? Well, now that contract just not enough for Nico, and so he ended up entering the transfer portal. And to be honest, he kind of played himself, because when you transfer in the spring, a lot of these budgets are already used up. Right? People have already allocated money to quarterbacks. And so there wasn't a huge market for Nico. It was basically UCLA and Tulane. And I think Tulane kind of backed away when they thought of the price tag. And he ends up signing with UCLA, I think for $1.5 million. So he's actually going to make less money than he was making at Tennessee, which was close to 2.
California taxes, kid.
Yeah, plus California taxes. Exactly. So he kind of played himself, but you know what? It was kind of an important time for college football, I think, because look, man, I went on the ACC network earlier this week to talk about this, but we need to get to a point where there's a collective bargaining agreement and a players association and some level of control over this stuff.
But hold on a second. I thought about this. Not heavy like you got to do because it's your damn job, but schools are at different levels that they have money in the NIL. How do you create a stage for a guy? You don't know how good that player is, and it's really beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very hard for you to create some kind of a scale when it's Tulane battling USC. We're not talking about the same piggy bank here. So if you start creating a level for a quarterback, there's a lot of schools. Like if you say, well, this is what Michigan and this is what Florida State and USC can pay. Well, that doesn't mean Tulane and Mississippi, Eastern Mississippi Valley and, Central Florida or whatever, they all can pay that. No, they can't. So I don't know how you make a system that could make everybody happy when it's all said and done.
I think at some point, though, you have to break off between the Power 4, right? You have to almost classify a guy. Is he a Power 4 guy or is he a G5 guy? And I think in this case, clearly he was a Power 4 guy. He ends up going to UCLA, who is a Big Ten school and obviously has some money to work with. But again, at this point, anybody could do this, right? They could basically try and hold themselves out. I think as long as the schools show solidarity the way that they sort of did in this case, which is, hey, buddy, you may want more than $2.2 million, but we're not going to give it to you. Then they continue to act that way, then you won't run into this problem down the road. But how long will that last? At some point, there will be a player that does this, and somebody says, no, you know what? We will pay you the $4 million that you're looking for to come play quarterback for us or wide receiver, right? And then that'll create all sort of upheaval in college sports. So to me, I guess the moral of the story is we need at some point to reach a level where there's more control over this situation, because it really is the Wild West, and I can tell you the coaches are absolutely losing their minds.
Well, I think the way you can control it is if there's a contract, you're done. You must honor the contract, okay? And that's it. You're not allowed to negotiate another contract, without any kind of a legal buyout that both parties have agreed on. But if there's no agreement, then both parties, and again, you got to hold both parties accountable to that contract too.
Right. And right now there is none of that, because there's no real governing body overseeing this. And the NCAA is trying to create something, but
that's the only thing I think you can do. There's no way you can control what somebody can pay or not. That's the problem in baseball. And that's the problem, in some sports where some owners are like, well, yeah, no, we're the Dodgers. Sorry. Too bad if you're Tampa Bay. That's your problem, not our problem. You know what I'm saying? And you that would happen in college football. But if at least you lock them into these contracts and everybody understands, and everybody in all the schools on a collective bargaining agreement agree, we cannot sign players that are,
under contract, right?
Under contract. And we have to understand that. And then I think you can move forward. That's about the only thing I can see.
Yeah. Well, something has to be done for sure.
Yeah, because that to me is insanity. What's going on, because now Tennessee's season is kind of in an upheaval. All right, so give me the top ranked recruits that are visiting Miami this weekend, sir.
Well, there is one who is a tight end compared to Brock Bowers. His name's Mark Bowman. He reclassified from the 2027 class to the 2026 class. Kid out of Mater D Academy out there in Santa Ana, California. Number 1 ranked player at his position. Big kid, 6'5", 225 pounds. The Hurricanes are reportedly going to have him on campus this week. 32 receptions for 435 yards and 8 touchdowns last year on a national championship winning team. So, you talk about the tight end position and some of the greats that have come to Miami before. Elijah Lofton is entering his second season here. He's going to probably have a big time year at the tight end position. This is the kind of guy that if you're Miami and you're recruiting at an elite level year in, year out, he's the guy that you get, right? He becomes the next Jeremy Shockey or the next Kellen Winslow or somebody great at your program. But they've got competition. Georgia, Oregon, USC, Texas, and Alabama are all in it as well. But the fact that he is actually coming here this week and is going to be on campus is a good move.
8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. If you want to have some delicious Italian food, all the pasta is shipped fresh from Italy, okay, and cooked fresh every day. So you're getting the pasta direct from Italy, cooked fresh every day. And by the way, family servings. So be prepared. They do not cheat you out of anything, okay? This is not one of those places that they keep charging you more and more, and then the plate gets smaller and smaller. That's not what they do at the Big T.
No.
Okay, you're going to load up, so make sure you go. And by the way, if you want to treat your friends, your family members, your co-workers, they've got the party platters. 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, 305-662-6855. And tell them that Big O sent you. Trust me, they will take care of you, man. They are really good people. All right. So we've got Steve, what is it? Angeli, the Notre Dame QB. So he transferred. So talk to me a little bit about this. How does that? What wrinkles does that happen with the game?
Yeah, Miami opens the season with the Irish, of course, at the end of August, and So Angeli was the one sort of experienced quarterback that they had on the roster in terms of college and having starting experience. So now you will have a true freshman, or not a true freshman, but a true first-time starter in either CJ Carr or Kenny Minchey as Notre Dame starting quarterback. They each took 4 snaps all of last season. So not a whole lot of playing experience for those guys. You think about Miami opening night. You think about the betting line, right? The betting line probably changed or will change in light of those little notes and stats. So we will see what happens going forward and who Notre Dame and Miami add to their rosters here in the spring transfer portal window. But if you're looking ahead to August 31st in that first game, kind of some big news this week with Angeli leaving Notre Dame.
All right, Ring of Honor for the Canes. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you look at the names on it, Dan Morgan, Ken Dorsey, Andre Johnson, Brian McKinney. So on October 25th, when Miami hosts Stanford, they were going to put those guys into the Ring of Honor.
Like, no discussion, bro.
No.
Like, there's no doubt. Like, there's nothing there. It's like, yeah, like, why aren't they there already? That kind of shit, right?
But they take forever. Miami waits until these guys' careers is long over before they throw them in the Ring of Honor. They kind of, this isn't done quickly.
Like, they pick 4 monsters, bro. Like, 4 monsters.
Well, this is the 100-year centennial celebration for Miami, so I can see them sort of saving this moment for some big names.
Heavy hitters, dude. They brought out
Absolutely.
4 Otanis. 4 Otanis is what they brought out. That's awesome. Those are names right there, dude. Those are names right there. God, you miss those kind of names in this program. All right, what do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, writing about the quarterback position and recruiting in the state of Florida this week, for next week, actually. Just, why there haven't been more big-time quarterbacks that have come out of this state. Obviously, you have Lamar Jackson in the NFL. You've got Fernando Mendoza, who obviously had a big year come out of Miami Columbus. But not very often you have 5-star quarterbacks. And this year we finally have one again in the state of Florida. And Dia Bell, Roger Bell's son over at Plantation American Heritage. He, of course, is going to Texas. So just kind of an in-depth piece on quarterbacks and why the Sunshine State doesn't do more of that. Producing, considering all the other positions they address, it just seems that quarterback never really is the position that we're known for.
Roger Bell's a good dude, man. Very, very professional. Good dude. I'm glad his son is having a lot of success. All right, follow him on Twitter and Manny_Navarro. And, of course, better yet, man, subscribe to The Athletic and support him and get all the news across the country and even internationally with some football news, too, on top of all of that. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up on Friday next week.
All right, brother. Take care. Talk soon.
Got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro and our BigCheeseMiami.com NIL and recruiting report.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
All right. Forgot the markets are closed today, right? It's just that Bitcoin's every day. It's 24 hours. Hanging in there still at 84,000. All right. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Tonight, man. Tonight's the night. Heat taking on the Hawks, and now they're favored by 1. Yesterday, the Hawks were favored by 1, and the over and under was 219. Well, now Miami's favored by 1. And the over and under is 219.5. Heat minus 115 on the money line, and the Hawks minus 105. So Vegas has got the Heat slightly favored in this one. Saturday, tomorrow, you can catch Inter Miami on the road in Columbus. 4:30 for that one. Columbus is plus 120 on the money line. Inter Miami plus 190 on the money line. Saturday at 5 o'clock. Fort Lauderdale United, the ladies, they are visiting the Dallas Trinity FC. You can catch that on Peacock. And the Panthers and the Lightning will start off on Tuesday. Lightning lost last night to the Rangers 4-0. Game 1, Amalie Arena, 8:30. Panthers and Lightning. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. What else? By the way, it looks like have you been seeing this story about Floyd Mayweather being broke? Like stuff, they're freezing his assets and all that kind of stuff. I know he's like kind of denying it and all that kind of stuff, but it's something that I would not be surprised if it did happen. I hope not, because you hope you don't wish anybody to go broke, man. Tonight, the Heat and the Hawks. And this is what it's all about. We talked about this, right? It's been a disaster of a season. There's a lot of stuff that they couldn't control. The Jimmy Butler thing just put them in a lurch, and it was unfair to a lot of those guys. I agree on all of that. And then finally you got the trade, and then you went into a dark place and you lost 10 in a row. And then you've bounced back and you've won some games. Then you lost a heartbreaker that you needed against the Bulls. Now you redeemed yourself because you beat that same Bulls team on the road, which was something that a lot of us were very nervous about. Tonight, you got to finish the game off. You got to finish this whole job off. You got to beat Atlanta, and you've got to get into the playoffs. Because it would be nice to see the Miami Heat in a 4, 5, 6, even 7-game set against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do I think they'll win? Hell no. But I'd love to see if they can go out there and they can play loose. Nobody expects them to win. Maybe they sneak one away or two and give us something to build on. But if you lose tonight, what you did the other night means absolutely nothing. You're beating bad teams that don't deserve to be in the playoffs. So if you can't beat them, if you can't beat the 8th, if you can't be the 8th seed, which isn't anything impressive, that's not much. So we're really not asking for much. But if you and I want to have a little bit of hope for the future, we need to see these young guys step up. And what Tyler did for me, that was his biggest clutch moment of his career, because there was nobody around. It's his moment, his team. And if he doesn't do it, Bam ain't doing it. So you've got to do it. And he did it. And he's got to do it again tonight, because if you want to become that kind of guy, you need to do it every night. Tonight is everything for this team, for this group, for the future of these young guys. If you fail in this game, you will question their character. You will question their mental toughness, like you have recently. And that was the beauty of the game against Chicago the other night. It was so awesome to watch them come out and dominate and play so well and play aggressive, confident, chemistry. They moved the ball around. They attacked. They played defense. It was beautiful, man. It was truly beautiful to watch. Now, problem is you played a shitty team. So in the end, it's not the most impressive thing in the world, but at least it's a step forward for a young bunch like this. And a win tonight is a nice step forward for a young bunch like this, that they can say, yeah, we're good enough to be in the playoffs. Here we are. Beautiful. Love it. Got to get it done tonight, man. Got to get it done tonight. Zero excuses. Got to get it done tonight. Dan Morgan was a beast. My goodness. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So damn excited for the battle of Florida Cats versus the Bolts. Yeah, I can't wait for Tuesday. I'm with you there. Put up or shut up for the Heat. Agree, Zachary. Making the playoffs would give these players we are bringing back much needed experience. Big time. And plus, we can measure them. This is what we're doing here. What kind of character do you guys have? You guys got any balls? You guys got guts? Let's go, man. Respond. Oh, nice job against Chicago. Okay, now you got to get it done against Atlanta. All right, now you're in the playoffs. Play your ass off against Cleveland. If they win 1 or 2 games, dude, I will be so happy. It's insane. The Internal Revenue Service is making plans to rescind the tax-exempt status of Harvard University. Wow. Here we go. I always wonder why we're giving these people that much money when maybe other universities that are a little lower tier maybe can help more kids with that. Anyway, what the hell do I know? Let's see what else. I strongly think the Heat will win against the Hawks. Spo is kryptonite of many teams, and Atlanta is definitely one of them. And I think they will have a strong series against the Cavs. You're right about that. I mean, to extreme, it's a good call by you because he does a number on Trae Young. And by the way, Damian on Trae Young, I'm looking forward to that, bro. Davion Mitchell. That kid's got dog in him, man. What he did to White at the end of that game, that was like, yeah, kid, that's it. So they're going to sick Davion Mitchell on Trae Young. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Spo does give Trae problems. Yeah, he figures out a way to stifle Trae Young. So I love that. They should beat Atlanta. They should. That's why I'm going to be disappointed if they lose. That's why, I was really afraid they were going to lose against the Bulls because of the way they played this year. And, without Butler and all that, we hadn't seen them in this position. For them to play the way they played the other night, I was really proud of the Heat, man. I was really proud of Tyler. Okay? I'm still trading him in the offseason for multiple picks if I can. Just so you'll know. If I can go out and get 2, 3 first-rounders for his ass and somebody needs a shooter, bring it on, bro. Bring it on, I'm telling you. But I was happy for him. But I need him to do it again tonight. If you're going to cross that threshold and be the guy, the beauty of being a star is it's your show. You're there every night. It's your game. Okay? But the expectations are there too. So you just can't take a night off where you coast around and you're like a team player and you're just passing around the ball. No. You're a star because the offense runs through you. They desperately need your offense because your offense feeds the others. Because since the attention comes to you, you can open it up for others. And that's how Tyler Hero has to be. He has to be. That play that was it Werder? That he pumped him a little bit and then took him baseline and used his body to body him up and get him up and then put it up against the glass and in. That layup, that was a big boy play by Tyler Hero that he doesn't make years ago. I was very proud of him. One of the things that I like about Tyler this year and what I've seen him to develop is, especially the last couple of months, the 3 I'm not on right now, or I'm not in a groove right now. Oh, no, I'm penetrating. I'm going to get an easy 2. And I like that because there have been moments where you're living and dying by the 3 and it's, gentlemen, you see you're not hitting? Let's go penetrate, go to the 2s, and you might get hard 3s in the process. And he's been very open to attack and open his game up. And that play where he used his back to create space and lay it up, I was very proud of Tyler. That was a big boy play by him. I like it. Now, we need it tonight. If you don't do it tonight, Tyler, what you did the other night means absolutely nothing. It's like, okay, well, this is why we question you. That kind of shit. So no off nights. at all tonight for Tyler. Bam's got to show aggressiveness tonight, no exception. As long as he plays his all-around game and Tyler does his thing, everybody, like I said before, dude, it's Wiggins. I disagree with you. I need Bam to defend. I need him to get rebounds, get a couple points here, there, a couple assists, a steal here. I need Wiggins to be the guy off of Tyler, like the other night. Dude, Wiggins shot, where was it? 4 of 9 from three-point range. I need Wiggins. I disagree with you. I need Bam to be the 3. Support, score the garbage baskets, pick up a go. But I need Wiggins to be the number 2 to Tyler. Because I can't expect – Bam doesn't have that in him, dude. It's just not who he is. He's not aggressive offensively. So I'm done with expecting it. If it happens on certain – like he did a couple – remember in that game the other night, he was aggressive and it was pretty cool. No, he wasn't like in the, and this was a couple games back, but in the game against the Bulls, he was 6 of 16. If you need 16 shots to score 15 points, that's, I don't need that. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's not what I need. Now, the other night, if I can look for it, he was really, really impressive. And so tonight we'll see if he can get it done. All right, my man Benjamin Albright is ready to go. He just popped in. So let's rock and roll. Let's talk a little NFL draft. Give us 30 seconds. Back with Benjamin Albright and a little NFL draft talk.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. There he is, Mr. Benjamin Albright, KOA Insider. What's up? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well, man. How you doing?
Good. Just hanging in there, waiting for the printer to turn on and our crypto to explode. That's what I'm waiting for, unfortunately. So we'll see. I'm thinking late third, fourth quarter is when maybe we're
in the accumulation phase right now. That's we're still in the accumulation phase.
Is that what you're doing? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm loving this Bitcoin dip actually, because it's allowing me to stack a little more Bitcoin. Are you? I know you're an AMP guy, but are you stacking any Bitcoin?
Yeah, I've got 2.5 Bitcoin, and then I continue to add to the pile on that. I pulled just about everything I had out of the market back in what was late February, and put it, got myself a liquidity pool, and then started moving stuff over to, to Bitcoin and to some of the different crypto. Yeah, I know I'm on AMP as well, so trying to do that, trying to keep up with everything as far as that goes, and stay ahead of market downturns with the your boy there, the Dow Jones.
Yeah, the Dow Jones. Yeah, it's just it's crazy stuff, dude. All right, man. So from an outsider's point of view, when you look at this place right now where it's at with the Miami Dolphins, how bad is it? Because, brother, I Dolphin Nation doesn't like to hear it from me, but like I have no hope for these guys right now. the way people are jumping ship and the cap position that they're in. Plus, I haven't been convinced with Mike McDaniel, I got to say, for 3 years now. So your thoughts from your point of view out there, from the Mile High point of view.
Well, let me start off with this. Let me give a little disclaimer on a friend, and I've known Mike McDaniel for a long time. He's from here in Denver. He used to, when he was in high school, he used to dance here at Michelle Latimer Dance Academy. He was a ballroom dancer back then, and hip hop dancer. Mike's a good guy. Mike's been through his ups and downs over the years. Congrats on him for the sobriety and getting right there and all that kind of stuff. But he's been through a lot. I'll say that he's probably what Miami needed initially in terms of a players coach, in that. But the problem with the players coach is you've got to have a lieutenant that's in that locker room that can be the hard ass, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? You've got to have somebody that will hold players accountable and everything else. And I'm not sure they've got that right now. This is going to be a benchmark year for Miami in the terms that, Stephen Ross already laid it out. You guys got to make the playoffs. You've got to win a playoff game, and if you don't do that, you're not going to be back next year. And that goes for Chris Greer. That goes for Mike McDaniel. This is a year for that kind of stuff. It's the same thing with, for instance, like the New York Giants. They gave it one more year beyond where they probably would have, just in the sense that, like, hey, all right, we're going to give you an opportunity to see the vision, but the vision better manifest itself pretty quick, or else I'm moving on to somebody else's vision. And so that's where we're at, Miami. That's where we're at with the Giants is a team that, hey, look, I gave you time to get what you needed in here. We've got the ingredients. The meal should be on the stove. You gotta produce something for dinner here, or else I'm gonna find somebody that can cook for me.
And listen, you follow the business side of this as much as anybody out there. The other thing that I've tried to explain to people is they just dished out a ton of contracts in the last year and a half here. And all these contracts are just starting to kick in. And that's the amazing part about the Ramsey one, because you just extended him last year and now he wants out, but that's what I've explained to Dolphin fans, that you could blow these guys out. And whoever you bring in knows that for the next 2 years, they're stuck to a whole bunch of salaries anyway. So bringing back these guys, they've got to fight through this year. And then if you do clean house, whoever comes in knows that even next year, it's kind of a mulligan year, because you've got the Tua deal, you've got all that stuff, and you've got to get through that if that doesn't work out. So it's kind of like I've been telling Dolphin fans, this is a really difficult position that they're in, because I know they don't want to hear this, but it's almost like you're 3 years away from starting a rebuild if a miracle doesn't happen this year with Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, you can't do a complete tear it down to the studs rebuild because of the contract situation. So that's sort of the issue. You have to find somebody with a different vision and hope that they can make their message resonate at that point. The Ramsey thing, I mean, look, Dolphins fans, you're not going to miss him. He's declined in production. He's declined in terms of what he is as a player. You're not going to miss him. He's not that dude in the locker room. So get what you can for him and move on. And honestly, the question here isn't really the Jalen Ramsey portion of it. It's the Tyreek Hill portion of it. I'm not sure you can deal him because of that contract, but that really is the thing. Kansas City got fed up with his antics. They topped him off a few times with new money, and then they got tired of it and let him move on. Now Miami's feeling the pain with the same thing. Tyreek Hill.
They weren't going to pay him last year.
Right.
There's a rift. There was a rift in that building last year. Some of the people in that building, I was told, they were not going to guarantee him more money. And then all of a sudden, late in the offseason, they started to change their mind or something. And I don't know what it was. And somehow I think it's McDaniel that kind of advocates for this, because he's Mr. Players coach. That was a major problem. And you wonder if that created a problem in that building too.
Yeah, and I would say that, in any other situation, you probably would even try to take the cap ding and move on from him in some way. The problem is you're in a year where you've got to win, right? So if you were going to trade Tyreek Hill at this point and take the hit, you'd have to believe that maybe drafting a Matt Golden would suddenly turn things around. And who thinks that Golden's going to turn into that dude in year one? Receivers usually take a year or two to kind of hit their stride. So, it kind of presents a rock and a hard place situation for all that. And Stephen Ross is looking around the division and say, well, Buffalo turned it around in 3 years when they got Josh Allen. Oh, by the way, we got a decline in the Patriots. They're down years for the last couple of years. The Jets have been jetsing. Why couldn't we get in there and make the playoffs and make a run? What was the problem here? And so that's sort of been the thing as he looks at it from a top down, view. He's like, well, the conditions were set. We got our quarterback. We got to it. We the division was soft. We had one other team in the division that we really had to go up against. So why didn't we produce? What's the problem? And that's really where the organization is, from the top end at this point.
And look where you're at in your backyard. You went through a season where most of us thought, yeah, no way Denver makes the playoffs. They got a rookie quarterback. They've got a whole bunch of dead cap space that they couldn't improve their team. And somehow or another, dude, Sean Payton and company shocked everyone. First of all, I didn't even think Bo Nix would be that good, so I was wrong there. But, man, and that's kind of the miracle that Miami is hoping for, what happened in Denver last year.
Yeah, for the Broncos, for one thing, they got healthy. They already had the good defense, kind of built in. They got healthy, and then on the offensive side, they just did enough, and that was sort of the thing. Bo, he struggled the first quarter of the season. He started to sort of pick it up, I think, about a third of the way through the season, and it got better as it went on. And now you're kind of looking at it like, okay, this could definitely work. But the Broncos did it in a pretty tough division. You think you got Kansas City in there already. The Chargers are on the upswing with Harbaugh, and now you've got the Raiders in there with Pete Carroll, who figures to make them better. That's a tough division. It's a little bit different than having a doormat like the Jets and the Patriots sitting there, where you should be able to get 3 or 4 out of those two. You probably could drop one of them, but you should be able to get 3 or 4 out of those. 2 or 3 out of those from the Jets and the Patriots, and then you look around the rest of your schedule and figure you should be able to get enough to get to 10 wins and get in the playoffs, which is what it takes these days. So, I just think Stephen Ross is frustrated when he's like, the conditions were ripe and we didn't cash in at this point. So you guys got this year to get it there, and if you don't, then I'm gonna find someone who will.
NFL Insider Benjamin Albright joining us, and by the way, you can follow him on Twitter at Albright NFL. All right, Ben. Before I get to the Dolphins at 13. Enlighten me here, bro. And again, I've said this with a couple of people out there. It's blasphemous what I'm about to say here in South Florida. I've said it many times over. Tell me why I'm wrong, dude. Everybody's got Cam number 1. I know his physical abilities is superior to Shedeur. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But the passing ability, the accuracy, the anticipatory skills, all that stuff from Shedeur, I was very impressed with overall. Cam, I love his moxie, but he played a lot of ballsy football down here, hero ball, and he had a line that gave him 5, 7, 9 seconds at time. And he also threw some crazy stuff. He didn't really play on time. 3, 5, 7-step drops, plant, throw. Not a lot of structured football here in Miami. So I'm wondering, what is it that everybody sees? I know the talent is there, but why is Cam for sure better than Shedeur?
Well, I don't know that he is for sure better, but it's one of those things where when it comes to the NFL, they default to physical traits. They just do. The league defaults to physical traits. Those are the things I can't coach. I can coach everything else. There's kind of an inherent coaching arrogance, and there needs to be. I mean, you have to sort of have an arrogance to believe that you can go out and coach, $1 million athletes and make them better, right? Just like there's got to be an arrogance to doing this job, right? There's got to be an arrogance to think that people need to hear my opinion on all this, right? So there's an inherent arrogance in certain things. Not all arrogance is bad. That said, the league does have sort of a collective default arrogance in the sense that if you've got the physical tools, I can coach up the rest of it. And so that's where the Cam Ward thing sort of comes from. With Shedeur, he's a little slight in the build. The arm strength isn't quite kind of what you'd want. I mean, it's NFL level, but it's not really what you want. Like I compare Shador to Teddy Bridgewater, to be honest with you, before the injury, before the horrible injury. Because he's similar size, similar build, similar arm, anticipatory, high IQ, everything you want from the neck up. But the arm strength isn't quite there, and maybe he takes the safe play a little too much on third down. And Teddy, when he was out here in Denver, set the all-time NFL record for completion percentage on third down while not getting a first down. The all-time NFL record on that. So, Shador without Travis has kind of sort of been that guy where he'll take the safe thing, and he has some athleticism, but he doesn't really use it. Like that's the thing. He doesn't really use it. It reminds you a little bit of yeah. Oh, well, yeah. And he's not trying to pick up yards with his legs. He'll maybe try to buy a little time, but he is tough. I will say that. He was behind a paper thin offensive line and got absolutely demolished, and he still hung in there. There was never a moment it was too big for him. But there's a few things in there. He does tend to drift a little bit out the back of the pocket, which will lead to some sacks that are his creation and not just the O line. And then he doesn't really use that athleticism that he's got. It reminds you of Derek Carr. Derek Carr ran like a 4.6 40, and nobody's accusing Derek Carr of out there just lighting the world on fire with his athleticism. They've got that tape speed or that time speed, but not that tape speed. It's one of those things where with Shador, I think that's sort of the thing. There's not any elite tool other than the football IQ, and there's not anything where you're saying, well, he could grow into this. He's a guy who's already got the high football IQ. What am I coaching him up to be? And so I think there's a hesitance on some side. Sometimes people can overthink it. You get that stinking thinking, right? Where you paralysis by overanalysis. Sometimes a guy who's got a high football IQ and distribute the football can work. I mean, Andy Dalton made playoff games, right? So you can have a guy that can do this. I think Shador will be fine starter in the league. But the reason that Cam Ward's going number one is people default to tools. They just do. That's why guys like Anthony Richardson get drafted 4th overall instead of where they should have been in the 3rd round.
Oh my God. When I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, he's just an athlete. If you watch them at Florida, he had no accuracy whatsoever, dude.
Yeah.
And
it was Trey Lance who played at Florida. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's exactly. And then you nailed it in your answer. It's the arrogance. Like, I can make him the better player, and that's it. Oh, he'll bring the talent. I'll make him the player. And it's kind of crazy in that sense. All right. Who's the best player in the draft, dude? Carter?
Yeah, I mean, it's Carter or Hunter. Those are the two best players in this draft. It's just depending on how you look at it. I mean, Travis Hunter, I view him more as a corner. Some people look at him as a receiver. I view him as a corner that you get some receiver packages for. And in that vein, I think he could be the best player in this draft. Carter, a generational pass rush prospect. Those two guys are I hate to say can't miss, but they're can't miss guys. As far as the rest of it goes, there's some other players in there that you kind of look at like, man, that dude, Michael Williams out of Georgia. I think he's one of those guys that I think is can't miss. Janty, is a guy that can't miss. And I'm a huge fan of Omarion Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina. Reminds me a lot of Deuce McAllister. I think he's going to be a stud in the league. We'll see. Tyler Warren is another guy. So I think there's 8, 9, maybe 10 guys in this draft that you put that blue chip, put that purple sticker, whatever your grading system is, on that guy. And then after that, from about 11, 12 to about 100, man, the grade is so similar. Like, it's so similar. They drop off from, because there's a drop off into that second tier, and then there's a fat second tier of players in this draft. And so, like, if it's me, my strategy in this draft would be, especially if I'm picking somewhere between like 10 and 30, 10, 32, like I would try to trade back a little bit if I could find anybody to trade back with me.
You're telling the Dolphins at 13 to trade down.
Yeah, trade down unless one of those blue chip guys falls in your lap. Right. And there's always the possibility that could happen. But unless one of those blue chip dudes falls in your lap, trade down, multiply your picks, and pick up more ammo in that range where this draft is fat, and get more people that are going to produce for you right away than trying. You got Broncos fans here in Denver trying to tell them to trade up from 20 to go get Janty. And I'm like, bro, in this draft, are you kidding me? It's loaded with running backs. Like, you're going to give away assets on into next year to move up to go get a running back that could get, what are you doing? So, same thing with Miami. If you can find a partner, you can find somebody that, if Shadur's sitting there and you can find somebody that wants him, God, trade back, pick up the extra capital and go get you some more ammo.
Okay. All right. So, but the other thing is now, because of the whole Jalen Ramsey mess, all right, well, it's not deep at corner. So if you're Miami, do you say, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. We could get a Will Johnson here. He's going to be a damn good corner. We can get a lockdown guy. And then in the second round, this is a defensive tackle heavy draft. We can get a guard in the second round, two positions that are of need in a big time way. Now, maybe you want to get a tackle / guard at the 13th pick. You know, if Banks falls to you, because you're starting Patrick Paul now. If Patrick Paul doesn't work out, do you get a guard that can play tackle and then bring Paul in? Or do you go Will Johnson? Because again, corner's not like deep like that, like really special, but guard and defensive tackle is. If you're the Dolphins, you can wait for the second and third rounds to fill those needs. How do you attack that? Because I love your talk about moving down, but you will also move out of getting a corner like Will Johnson at that point. How do you attack that?
Yeah, you've really got, you've got three corners there at the top. You got Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, and then you got Barron, and that's really that top tier. And then after that, there's a little bit of a drop off. The question is whether you want to come away with. You already mentioned Banks, so I'm going to use him as the example. The question is whether you want to come away with Banks and then maybe like an Amos in the second round, the corner out of Ole Miss, or if you want to flip that and you want to come away with a Barron or a Johnson there at the top, and then you're looking at some of the offensive linemen. I will say this: there's like 7 offensive linemen going to go in round 1 of this draft. Like it's got a fat top tier, but then the drop off is bad. So I think the drop off is bigger for offensive linemen than it is for corner in this draft. So if you've got the right offensive lineman and you believe he's the dude, then I take him at 13 and grab the corner like Amos in the second round. If you don't believe in the guy, then and you do believe in the corner, then go get the corner and hope that there's somebody, one of those offensive linemen got pushed down to you by maybe teams trading in the back of the first round trying to get quarterbacks like Dart, that kind of stuff. And then maybe you get one to fall in your lap that way. But that's a riskier strategy in terms of looking at the drop-offs in the 2 tiers between the position groups in this draft.
All right, so guard, who do you like for the Dolphins? And remember, they play they play more of a zone scheme, an outside zone scheme. Who fits in the second and third rounds? Because you're not doing it in the first round unless you're getting a tackle that can play some guard for you. Just because, again, the only reason I mention it, it's because of the insurance policy for Paul. But in second and third rounds, that's going to be more of the guard area. Who do you like in those areas?
There's nobody that I'm sitting there screaming or banging the table for. There's a couple of guys. Gray Zabel's going to be long gone by that point, and he's guard center at the NFL level. He's considered the best guy. He's going to be long gone at that point. In fact, he'll probably go to the Seahawks in the first round. Once you start looking after that, the thing about zone guys, and I'll say because zone blocking originated here in Denver with Alex Gibbs, back in the day. McDaniel's one of the disciples off that. What I will say when it comes to that is normally we laugh off the idea of looking at 40 times for offensive linemen. But for zone guys, it translates. So look for guys that had a great 10-yard split and a good 40-yard time that can move, because they've got to be able to move and get to that second level to be able to execute those kind of blocks and run that system. So look for the athletic type guys. Like, that's the thing. Take chances on athleticism instead of strength. If you're running power gap, you want those hosses in there. You want the big boys that that repped out 45 times on the bench. But you're running the zone, man. If you're running zone, they don't have to be as functionally strong. You basically want movable road cones at that point, right? Theoretically. So look for the guys that had the higher athletic potential. With that kind of stuff. It's part of the reason, because the Broncos, they were converting to zone back in the day. That's part of the reason they took Garrett Bowles over Ryan Ramczyk back in the day, because Sean Payton down in New Orleans was running power gap, but in Denver they were running the zone, and Garrett Bowles was more athletic. Bowles took a couple of years to get there, but at the end of the day, Bowles is still playing. He's still playing at a high level. Ryan Ramczyk retired yesterday. So, find those guys that are a little bit more athletic. They're a little bit leaner in the build, and you look at them and you're like, really? That guy's a guard? But find those type of guys, and you can find them in rounds 2 through 4 that have a little bit more athleticism to them. Coach them up, and you'll be more successful.
By the way, just a little bit off the beaten path. How crazy is it getting in Boulder since Dion got there? Hell, they just got the film festival and everything now. So how's the buzz in Boulder? Have you been there for any of that stuff?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's Colorado as a football program was dead. I mean, it was dead. I mean, it was non-existent. I mean, they hadn't won. They had one bowl game in 20 something years. When Mike McIntyre was here, you had a series of failed. Outside of that,
We lost him. We lost Ben. That might be a phone call coming in. That usually happens. See if he comes back. See if we lost him there. I'm gonna see if we get because that what's going on in Boulder is crazy, dude. Like that city is like gotten like since Dion got there, it seems like it's a shot that has like helped out in many other areas. They just got the film festival. They took it from Salt Lake, which is impressive. Let's see if we lost him. Hold on. Guess he's not coming back. Let's see. All right. I just texted him there. There you are.
Sorry about that. I tell people not to call me, and then they start blowing my phone up.
I said that's probably a call. All right, so quickly, so you could go because I've taken enough of your time. So how's the buzz there? Because it looks since Dion got there, there's been like this momentum building, and I saw they got the film festival from Salt Lake and everything. I'm like, shit, dude, they're adding that too.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Colorado's been a dead football program for so long. I mean, you had Dan Hawkins and John Embry, and Mike McIntyre was the lone bright spot. You had Mel Tucker and Carl Durrell. I'll say this: whatever the results are, and Colorado's not exactly set the world on fire. They've been to one bowl game in 2 years and not been the playoffs, but that's certainly a light years better than the 1-win seasons they were doing before that. Whatever you thought of CU, it's the center of the college football world now. Dion's got that thing, like all eyes are on Colorado at this point. And he's sort of like it's interesting to me because people are like, well, he's doing something nobody's ever done before. Well, that's horse. That's that's horse excrement. It's been done before. It was done at USC. Pete Carroll did. He's doing the same thing Pete Carroll did. It's just Deion Sanders. He's got sort of a flashier way of talking about it, and so people are like, well, wait, this won't work. This what, dude? Pete Carroll did it at USC. He resurrected USC doing the exact same stuff. The DJ during practice, all that, celebrities on the sidelines, all that stuff. So I don't begrudge that. I think the people that most of the critics of it, I look at them and I'm like, I don't know what I don't think you know what you're talking about if you don't know that that this has been tried before. Now this is the NIL era, so there's a little bit different component to it. I mean, Pete was just giving them bags under the table. Now the money's on the top of the table.
He's doing it in Colorado, which that's where you got to give him mad props. USC, you're in LA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at least if you go resurrect USC, that's USC. It's got a rich history, but to do that in what he's doing in Colorado, man, I'm super impressed, man, because like you said, he's the buzz in college football now, and College Game Day is going there.
Mm-hmm.
I never even thought of going to Boulder ever. Please.
Yeah.
Do.
We had the Colorado Pro Day, just what was it, last week or whatever. I was there, and I've been to a lot of pro days over the last 15 years. It was probably the most NFL people I've ever seen at a pro day. And I've been to some that are packed with prospects. It was fantastic. I'm sitting there, at the end of the run of the 40s. I'm sitting there right at the edge doing the timing or whatever, right there, and I'm sandwiched in between Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski over here, and I got Joe Shane and Brian Dable right next to me here, and I'm like, fellas, I feel like I should be making a pick at some point if I got 2 and 3 sitting right here. So, it was absolutely just packed. I mean, there were, you had owners out there. You had Jimmy Haslam out there at the pro day. So, it's really become a central and a focus point in college football. He'll have to turn that into wins in the next couple of years. But the fact that they're even in bowl games when previously you're talking about a 1-2 win team is certainly something.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job in that turnaround. All right, follow him on Twitter at Albright NFL. You can catch his work there. He does excellent work for KOA. Great insider around the league. Keep stacking, my brother. We will end up in the winning zone, man. We will catch up down the line. Thank you for taking some time.
Absolutely, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Benjamin Albright coming through for us. Love it. Good dude. Knows this shit. Knows this league inside and out. Cannot complain, man. Good people. Good people. So there you go. And if you want to, we had more draft talk all throughout. Yesterday, Tony Pauline was joining us. We had Charles Davis and Eric Galco. So if you want a little draft talk, it's there on the platform. You can enjoy it. Remember, you can make a donation on the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, or Chainlink donation, because they're doing all four of those now on Venmo, and I am an investor in all of them. So you can make a donation on any of those. Where's Bitcoin at, by the way, since the market is closed? But Bitcoin's always open. 84,447. Holding strong, baby. Strong. Love it. Love it. All right. What else do we have here? No chance I would keep Hero. I want him to do well, but only to improve trade value. We want the return for Tyler to go up. So, yes, we need Tyler Hero to ball out. I agree. Andres Orozco for the pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. The Tennessee Titans select Cam Ward. I'm buying Bitcoin like a maniac, $1,000 every week. Wow, too extreme. God bless you, dude. I wish I could do that. Nice job by you. It's fantastic, bro. You're going to be big time in the winning zone. Skylar Tipton says, too many talented players at 13 to trade back. Get a package for Ramsey. I really think you go corner now. I really think you go corner because it's just what Benjamin said. You have the top three corners, and then there's a drop-off. And in the second round, you can get a guard or a defensive tackle. So I'm just going to get my guard or defensive tackle. I'm going to get my guard maybe in the second round or in the third round and get my defensive tackle either or. Maybe you go defensive tackle in the second, and then the third you go with the guard. I'm just saying, I think because corner is going to be so neat. You have pass rushers. They're coming back, so you should be fine. You need corners badly. I like Storm. I like Kader Kohu, but they haven't necessarily crossed that threshold that they're short-time starters. You know what I mean? But I like the potential that they have, but we can't put those kids out there like we have to count on them. You need to go get a badass corner. You need to go get, and I didn't have corner. I had lineman. But after this Jalen Ramsey thing and the way I'm looking at everything, I'm thinking you go Will Johnson. You go corner. That's it. Look, unfortunately, nothing Chris Greer was going to say was going to make you happy because he didn't have any ammo. And whatever pick they make, you're going to be unsatisfied because they have so many needs. So if they take a defensive tackle, you're going to, they need offensive line. If they take the offensive line, they need defensive tackle. So if they take the corner, you're going to go, they need offensive line or defensive line. They need them all, man. It sucks. This season sucks for all of us. Because it's just really hard to feel great about it. Anyway. If the Michigan corner is available at 13, we should take a stab at that pick. That guy is a baller. Forgot his name. Help me out. Help him out. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Anyway, Skyler's the man. If he can't do it, no one can. All right, folks, we're out of here. 3 hours today. Appreciate it. We thank Benjamin Albright. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank David Furones. We thank all of you that tuned in. If you sent in a donation, thank you. Hit the like button, smash it, hit the notification bell, all of that. Appreciate your support. Visit our amazing sponsors, Welton Rayom, Caneswear, R&M Contractors. Ray and Mike do great work. Sloman's Home Security, Cutter's Edge Pro, Toyota of Hollywood, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park, BigCheeseMiami.com, Moody S Dental, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Please visit our sponsors. We'll see you on Monday morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.